Dear viewers, thank you for choosing Manhwa Compilation channel. Enjoy watching. Before us lay the beautiful courtyard of the Williams family home. Huge, fluffy, green trees and bright hot sun. A guy is training in the yard, hitting a hard training bag. All you can hear is the bang-bang echo throughout the entire area. The heavy fist flies one after another, as if tormenting a training tool. A huge giant pear sparkled from strong blows. Williams took a fighting stance with his fists clenched, his wide golden belt glowing. He was well built, like an athlete. Supposedly delighted applause could be heard all around from his relatives standing nearby and watching him. Cool Williams. In a few blows he broke all the pieces of wood. Arthur, a guy standing to the side, clapped at him. And it's true. There was laughter nearby. Arthur, meanwhile the guy said to himself, smiling, smugly crossing his arms over his chest. So, are you the hope of our family? Another guy in a kimono scoffed. Arthur, what are you up to again? Williams said. The guy didn't really trust those around him. What are you planning? I just ask you not to disgrace yourself on the family's training field. The guy watching him whispered again. He placed these firebrands everywhere here, only making people laugh, he said again. He was a real rightist, and brother Arthur is the pride of the family. Flow of true chi, as many as 4 spheres. The guys sitting on the bench admired their brother's strength. Still don't get it, Williams? Every day here you waste your strength. You wear out your fists. His brother thought mockingly about him. So you can't tell the difference between blood and meat. But what is the use of this? Without spiritual channels, you will forever remain useless. The guy continued to mock him. A brat that can't even support a wall. This ominous phrase referring to him stuck in Williams's head. Keep hiding, he thought further. And your father is the same bastard as you. The guy continued to sneer, grinning viciously. All his life he's been running around with you. You are a burden to him. It's a pathetic sight, the guy continued. You're in trouble. Williams couldn't resist, attacking him with fists. His opponent had hurt him too much. Who is there to fight with? The guy grinned sarcastically again when Williams missed, missing him. The guy dodged the blow, but Williams slightly caught his cheek. They both got into a fighting stance, preparing to fight. And you pissed me off. I'll finish you now, the guy said in rage, holding his bloody cheek. He only masters the 4 realms and relies on the flow of chi, without paying attention. If you engage in hand-to-hand combat, there may be a chance of success. Williams thought meanwhile. Attack! The guy laughed viciously, attacking him with his fists, again provoking him to fight. But Williams dodged it very cleverly, like a snake. He was a smart guy. Agile bastard! The provocateur went mad. This is a chance, Williams thought. And with a strong, direct blow, he hit him in the stomach. This bastard, relying on his body, beat Arthur, the genius of his family. Those watching them were indignant. No, look, another guy said, raising his finger up. Oh, Williams prepared the iron fist. Chi energy protects the body, he thought. Arthur jumped again to strike. He was a brave, desperate boy. A bright flash of fire illuminated everything around. The yellow rays of light seemed to dissipate, illuminating everything around. God, just a little more, and this bastard could beat me, the guy said, standing with one leg on William's back. Does chi protect the body? Brother Arthur, you have mastered the 5 realms. I have advanced only recently, but I am no longer bad at using it. Arthur thought, happily smiling, roughly grabbing the lying guy by the hair. Wanted to attack me! When will you understand? Lifting the guy off the ground by his hair, he asked him, grinning. Then, smiling evilly again, he struck with a strong blow. Williams flew back, spitting burgundy blood from his mouth. He was not that strong yet, although he trained more and more. Clouds of gray smoke, cries of pain, and a lot of blood around. The guy seemed to be mocking him. Arthur stood up again, holding the power stone in his hand, preparing to hit the guy with a new blow. Williams, in turn, sitting on the ground, tried to concentrate his strength. Die already! Arthur hissed angrily, releasing the glowing ball from his hand. A blow, an explosion. A bright yellow flame erupted around again. Red rays illuminated everything around. Arthur stood majestically watching the smoke left after the impact. He didn't understand. A wounded man emerged from under the remains of fire and clouds of smoke. Greetings, Uncle. Your nephew just wanted to launch an attack, and then there was... He didn't have time to finish. Stopped by you, Uncle continued, turning to him. Arthur was very surprised. Looking at his uncle who appeared with his big brown eyes, there is very little left before the fight for the place of head of the family. Wait until my father, Williams thought, being weakened, will get a place. Then we'll collide. He continued the thought. Meanwhile, the father took the wounded Williams in his arms and carried him into the house. "Father, I burden you," he whispered with bloody lips. "Not everyone can go through the path of martial arts," his father answered. "An ordinary person must remain an ordinary person. You cannot jump higher." Tears flowed down the face of the exhausted, wounded Williams. But the Williams family, these are unusual people. Sitting on the floor, the guy thought, having already come to his senses a little. Williams' family home. "Brother Williams! Brother Williams, are you there?" The girl called him as she approached the door. "Olivia?" Seeing a beautiful, sweet-looking girl, her uncle turned to her. "Uncle Leo, this is not the first time I've come, but he still won't let me in." "Is he really like that?" The girl wailed with tears in her eyes. "Come back, Olivia. He can't meet you now," her uncle told her. "Why? After all, I am his future wife." The upset girl could not understand. "Olivia, you need to forget about marrying him. You are the pearl of the Lewis family, a heavenly maiden, a martial arts master." Uncle Leo tried to calm the girl down. "He doesn't suit you," the man continued to insist, trying to turn her away from her lover. "Who will suit me then, if not him?" "We like each other, that's enough," the girl thought. "A wedding is a serious matter. It is decided by the parents. Go." Her uncle's words rang in her head. "You need to become strong. If I become strong, then everything will change for the better." Meanwhile, Williams continued to think, sitting on the floor with a book in his hands. He sat in thought for a long time, not letting go of the book. The defeated guy tried not to give up. For Olivia's sake, for his father's sake, and for his own sake, he decided, pulling himself together, since these people were the most dear to him in life, and here before us is the land of death. Dry tree branches, black high rocks. One of them is the largest demon rock. The cawing of black crows can be heard everywhere. Their screams were a little alarming. Williams is almost at the highest point of the cliff. Bright lightning flashes around, piercing the sky. "Finally!" came the joyful exclamation of the guy who almost climbed to the top. "Finally found it." He smiled contentedly, looking up. Hellish reishi, growing only once every few decades. It can be collected in the year of the tiger, in the first month of the lunar calendar. The lunar calendar is an ancient chronology system. The first month of the lunar calendar corresponds to March in the solar dimension. If I miss this chance, I'll have to wait many years before another similar mushroom appears, the guy thought, as he climbed up the rock. The elixir from this mushroom will help you master the 5 spheres even without spiritual nadis, Williams reasoned, trying to reach out with his hand to the red, bright mushroom. And with a sharp movement, he picked off a huge burgundy mushroom. He glowed in the darkness, as if alive. "The time has come to change fate," thought the guy with his eyes burning with delight. Lightning flashed above the guy's head. He walked through the danger of the elements, reaching the peak of the rock. "Heavenly Lord, are you laughing at me?" The guy got angry, baring his teeth. "All my labors," he wailed in bewilderment. The guy was upset, as if nature was against him. "Were they in vain?" he shouted. Many lightning bolts attacked him, trying to push him down. Williams tried to hold on with all his might, helping with his legs, just so as not to fall down. But the hand slipped, and the stone the guy was holding onto broke off from a huge rock with a roar. "Apparently a little more, and I'm falling from a great height," he thought. "I'll stop being a useless brat." He was tired of being like an outcast that everyone mocked. It was as if all my life flashed through Williams's eyes as he flew down. His eyes opened wide. After the fall, he could not understand where he was. "Ascended to heaven?" he thought when he saw 2 charming girls in front of him. "You'd better not get up, otherwise you'll really ascend," one of them said, smiling. The guy found himself in a huge, dark cave. Only through one gorge did thin rays of light break through. It was as if he was on another planet. The girls tried to understand where he came from. "My name is Williams. I was climbing for one medicinal plant, but suddenly lightning struck the rock and it collapsed." The guy told his sad story to the girls. "I had no idea of offending my elders," Williams exclaimed, "so that they would not think anything bad about him. We thought that someone had finally come to help us climb up, but it turned out to be a simple person, without a spiritual nadi. But that's not bad either. When my sister and I leave, at least there will be someone to dig a grave and erect a monument." One of the sisters cried sadly. "Senior, what are you saying?" My sister exclaimed. "Call me sister, not elder." She got angry. In the demonic abyss, death is everywhere. You need to have a well-trained body and pure chi to escape from here. We're both wounded, and there are ferocious monsters lurking around here somewhere. Now do you understand what situation we are in? The older sister explained to Williams. Ah! One of the girls sighed, grabbing her wounded hand. Eldest, I have one medicine made by my family. The guy turned to her. This is not a wound that can be cured with ordinary medicine. By the morning we will no longer be alive. Nothing can be done. The girl said with sadness in her eyes. You won't know if you don't try, Williams told her, taking the girl by the hands, looking into her big blue eyes. I still have things to deal with. I'm sure the eldest also has every reason to live, thought the guy. He confidently insisted that it was worth a try, trying to cheer up the sisters. Just look at this boy. Maybe we can really try? The younger sister asked her sister. She took off her clothes, exposing her wounded back. We are nobody to each other. I'm somehow embarrassed. The guy was slightly embarrassed, feeling shy. We're both wounded. We can barely raise our hands. So we'll have to ask you to apply the ointment. Williams's girl asked to help. I apologize for my tactlessness, the blushing guy said, sweating slightly. And approaching the girl, he began to rub her wounded back with gentle movements. The girl glanced at the guy out of the corner of her eye while he tried to save her. Like she was joking with the guy. Under the influence of my demonic power, men lose their heads and demonstrate their true nature, Williams thought. Come on, listen to the call of your heart, he said to himself, shrouded in some kind of dark energy. In a bright purple light, he touched the girl's back, seriously embarrassed, applying healing ointment. Wait, he shouted, trying to overcome this energy that had taken hold of him. Williams, what are you doing? He thought, abruptly removing his hand from the girl's wounded back. Senior, I'm sorry, the guy said, clutching his head. He didn't understand what was happening to him. I think I suddenly became obsessed with some kind of power. Sorry, the guy continued with a blush on his face. Sister, he's not so bad, said the younger sister, smiling. It was as if she was hovering somewhere in pink clouds. He has a strong will and a worthy character, the older sister thought about the guy. Well done. Congratulations on successfully passing the test, said the youngest, turning to Williams. The test? What just happened? The guy realized with surprise. Drops of sweat still flowed down his hot face. Let's talk frankly, the younger sister began, turning to the guy. She sat on a stone with a confident look. My name is Leah. I am the 9th Heavenly Maiden, the girl began to tell herself. And this is my older classmate, Amelia, she introduced the guy to the girl whom Williams was saving. The 9th Demonic Maiden, the guy said in surprise, looking at them with huge brown eyes. We were seriously wounded. My sister and I exhausted all our energy in the battle, and now we cannot get out of here. We were already preparing to leave for another world, but then you appeared, and with you an idea appeared. The youngest continued. What's the idea? Williams asked. To give you my sisters and my meridians, my light yang and her dark yin. If you can combine these two forces, you will get out of here, the eldest completed their speech. My fellow student and I cannot transfer our energy to just anyone, much less a bad person. That's why your sister used her power on you. We wanted to find out what you are like, the sister concluded. So does that mean I passed the test? Asked the surprised guy, amazed that this is happening to him. Don't rejoice so soon. Not every person is able to withstand the merging of our forces with our fellow student. You might even die. Think carefully, you can still refuse, they warned the guy. I won't give up for anything. I could only dream of such a chance in a dream, he answered the sisters, succumbing to the incessant emotions that were tearing him apart inside. Okay, I'm asking for the last time. Williams, do you want to conclude a contract with us? Accept our strength and in return help us recover? The younger guy asked sternly, rounding her big, sea-blue eyes. Wish! I will do anything to become stronger! The guy exclaimed with confidence, clenching his fist. Very good, said the girl, holding her power card in her hand. Then let's begin, she said, looking at him, with a brown card in her hand. The girls sat down next to one another, their energies intertwined in a bright yellow-purple glow transmitted to Williams. He was completely enveloped in a glow. Rays of light and smoke streamed from his mouth. Ah! The guy screamed, spinning in the bright lights, in the bright glow of their powers, intertwined energy. His own channels are damaged. His consciousness is not stable. The transfer of spiritual natas to ordinary people is so difficult, exclaimed the sister. He pierced the huge cave with his scream. I hear a growl. Has this guy really pulled off a hell of a Lingji? The youngest said in surprise. If the monster guarding the hellish Lingji is here, then they won't leave us alive, the girl exclaimed, assessing the situation. Williams, your condition at the moment is difficult to control. If you give up, you can save yourself at least half of your life, the sister shouted, trying to convey to the guy what was said. I can't give up, the desperate boy growled, clenching his teeth and enduring the pain. I have no spiritual meridians. I always trained hard to catch up with the others in terms of strength, but it was all to no avail. When the family needed help, there was nothing I could do. Today, I had such a chance. The guy continued with confidence in his decision. I won't give up even after death, he shouted. Drops of blood sprayed from his eyes and mouth, but Williams was not going to give up. His body was covered in bloody wounds, which glowed with bright rays of a light glow. It was as if he was on the verge between life and death. Hey, boy! The sisters gathered around him when the guy fell to the cold ground. They looked at the guy as they came closer. Various lights were still burning around them. Gray smoke, sounds like explosions. The girls waited for what would happen next, approached each other, looked into each other's eyes. And then a huge, roaring dragon appeared from the smoke. His fangs sparkled, illuminating the cave. And the guy continued to lie on the cold ground. Sister, what should I do? The younger one exclaimed. Look, his wounds are healing themselves, the eldest called in response, looking at Williams in surprise. Sister, everything is much better than you thought. The girl did not stop wailing, rejoicing that everything is happening this way. If he has great luck, and our two powers successfully merge in his body, then he will have no equal in strength. The perked-up sisters concluded. We need to bide our time. Let's get into battle, and maybe he'll wake up, said one of the girls. Okay, the sister answered, agreeing. Vile animal, they repeated as they approached the huge monster, which opened its lousy, slobbering mouth. Die, the sisters exclaimed, trying to hit the dragon. The battle continued. He growled menacingly, and the evil beast did not let up. Bright lights around, a loud roar of a monster. He tried to wave his huge, sharp tail, while making terrible, creepy sounds. Bang! And with a direct blow from his tail, he hit his older sister. The girl flew away, hitting the cold ground of the cave. Ah! She moaned in pain. If our forces were with us, then this animal would be defeated in the blink of an eye. Ah! The wounded girl screamed. A trickle of blood flowed from her mouth. He growled very loudly. The monster got very close to the unconscious guy. He dreamed of devouring it, tearing it into small pieces. He opened his vile mouth, drool flying around. He bared huge, sharp fangs and claws that were shining like daggers. Monster, don't come near! The eldest shouted, getting to her feet. She tried to use the remaining strength. A lock that seals the soul, exclaimed the girl, embracing the tail of the beast with her power. Become obsessed, she continued. With a dying roar and a loud sound, the monster collapsed to the ground. Clouds of dust and fragments of stones flew around. We're having a hard time coping, but we need to buy a little more time for that guy, said the little sister, then controlling herself with her remaining strength, which was clearly helping them now. What? The girl flew up a little in the air. She circled like a bird in proud flight. The dragon began to rise. She tried with all her strength to hold the monster, but the attempt was in vain. As strong as this brave girl was, the dragon was much stronger than her. This monster has been released. He approached the guy again, breathing a vile, nasty stench. Baring his long, sharp fangs and claws, he was like a demon come from hell. The guy, lying on the ground, glowed with some kind of fiery light, but still did not come to his senses. It was as if he was somewhere in heaven. Things are bad, the sisters thought, already completely desperate. The girls have already done everything in their power, trying to stall for time and stop the monster. But then a bright glow, like lightning, threw the animal into the air with a roar, and he began to fall down, exhausted. The sisters looked at what was happening with huge eyes bulging in surprise. Sister, he recovered much faster than we thought, the girls said to each other. I just can't believe my eyes. Did it really work out? Did the guy manage to recover? Williams woke up and stood on his feet, completely illuminated by a bright yellow light, iridescent rays. The guy, standing in a bright glow, clenched his strong fists. The two energies of yin and yang successfully merged in him. So this is what it's like to have spiritual meridians? The power quickly spreads throughout the body like a mountain river, he thought, clenching his fists, illuminated by the yellow light. The sisters, standing on the sidelines, watched Williams with admiration and delight. Their efforts were not in vain. I thank the sisters for detaining this monster and giving me time to come to my senses. the guy said with his hands folded in a position of gratitude. Oh boy, the younger sister thought about him, smiling excitedly. Now try your strength on him, the girl said, pointing to the monster. Grah! The beast growled, opening its vile mouth again. He accelerated, boldly approaching the guy. Williams grabbed both sisters by the waist, deftly moving them away from danger. Bang bang, stones were flying from under the huge paws of the dragon. More explosions and clouds of dust. Be here, safe, and I'll sit down with him, the guy said, taking the sisters to a high stone, away from the monster. He rushed down with all his speed towards the bloodthirsty, enraged monster. The speed of reaction and the power of the jump increased several times, the guy said, feeling a new surge of strength. Now feel the power of my fist, Williams exclaimed, flying up to the ferocious beast. The guy launched attack rings at the monster, using your new abilities. Didn't work? The boy said in surprise. The dragon began to wriggle, and then 3 appeared from one of its heads. He's really not easy to defeat, Williams thought as he continued to fight. This monster can be defeated with a single flow of chi. And you, dunce, are still using brute force, the guy said to himself, trying to learn how to properly cope with new skills. And that's true, because now I have not only physical strength. The boy began to put together a picture. I can feel the chi energy circulating through my meridians at high speed. It's about to flow out like a fountain. Williams finally began to control his power. So this is the power of pure chi. Take that, you vile creature, the guy said with confidence. Streams of blue light poured from the mouth and nose of the evil monster. He tried to spew streams of bright glow at the guy. And the guy, in turn, dodged, using his fiery, bright power. Sorry, but this time I'm faster, he hissed at the dragon, baring his teeth, flying up to him with burning steel fists. The monster was engulfed in bright rays of flame. He howled a terrible roar, feeling his defeat. Williams unclenched his fists, realizing that he had defeated the evil, vile beast. The stones began to fall down from such strong blows. They flew with a roar, falling to the bottom of the cave. Blockhead! Couldn't calculate the force! Everything is falling apart here, we need to leave! The sisters shouted, clutching their heads. Bang, bang, all you can hear is the roar of heavy, huge stones. Sisters, I will get you out of here, the guy exclaimed, instantly flying up to the girls. Use your blood! There are just a few stones here, the girl told him. This is a storage ring. Put us inside, she told Williams, handing over a small ring. Meanwhile, the monster had risen to its paws and was also trying to escape from there. We need to hurry, said one of the sisters. Yes, the second sister agreed with her. The guy combined the 2 energies of yin and yang, merging into them. Father, Olivia, wait for me, Williams thought with clenched fists, with confidence and hope. A bright light illuminated a large, beautiful house from inside. Sister Alice, the water is ready, the elder sister called the girl. But I don't understand why you need to wash here because there is a bathhouse in our family's house, said the guy. What a fool! We can't let someone else know about us as a sister, otherwise we'll have to kill everyone, the girls whispered. Finally, you can wash yourself well, said one of the sisters. Maybe I should wait outside the door for now, and at the same time lie in wait so that no one comes in, the embarrassed Williams asked, blushing. No need. Wait here, the younger one answered. Turn away and close your eyes, they continued. The sisters splashed around in the water while the guy turned away from them and waited. What could it be, he thought with drops of sweat on his face. Come, the girl called him, beckoning with her finger. Bend over. The guy leaned towards them, not understanding what was going on. He blushed again, feeling embarrassed. When he leaned closer to them, without opening his eyes, the girl reached out to him with her finger. She touched her forehead with her finger, and the middle of William's forehead glowed yellow. This is a 4-element technique, a divine skill that I have been perfecting for a long time. The divine knowledge that tells you how to control our powers has already been transmitted to you earlier. Along with this knowledge, I gave you another one, which will allow you to control the technique of the 4 elements. The guy was reasoning in the meantime. Try to direct your chi to the records revolving around you, the Williams sisters instructed. I'll try, he answered them. Sister Alice, I feel like a fire is burning in me, the guy said, feeling a new surge of strength. This fire is true chi. You boy, you got the hang of it pretty quickly. However, it is necessary to train in order to learn how to control the force, Alice told him, turning to the guy. Younger sister used to be an alchemist. You can also try these secret alchemy methods. But alchemy requires extremely great talent and diligence, so you don't need to study it all the time, added the second sister. The secret of this technique just settled in my head. She was able to convey so much information with the power of her divine knowledge. Are the sisters really the masters of the 8 realms of martial art fan? No. 9 spheres, Williams thought. Am I right? He asked the girls, turning around. Alice looked at him, smiling her sweet, gentle smile. Kid, you should know that in addition to fan, there is also the art of Gen, the art of Nirvana, and many others. There are an infinite number of ways to improve. All areas of martial arts practiced on this continent are just a drop in the bucket. The sisters continued their conversation. Our enemies can wipe out from the face of the earth all the most powerful martial arts practitioners known to you. So it is impossible for anyone to find out about my sister and I's existence. Even if these are your closest and dearest people, the eldest said with all seriousness. I used to think that those who possess the 9 realms of fan have no equal in the world of martial arts. Now that the sisters say that, Williams thought, are fan owners really so weak compared to others? The guy continued to think. Don't worry. You now have the divine meridians of yin and yang. Thoroughly train the art of the 4 elements, honing the skill of immortality. Alice encouraged him, again pointing her finger at his forehead. Become the god of art fan. Williams tried to concentrate, as if flying high up. The girl laughed. I could lie there for a couple more hours? The younger girl thought, straightening her hair. Williams, you're weak for now, when the time comes. I will teach you demonic cultivation methods, she continued. I will try not to disappoint you, the guy exclaimed with enthusiasm. Williams! He heard his father's voice, and he quickly left the girls so that he wouldn't see them. Williams, are you okay? Asked the concerned father, approaching the guy. I heard you just returned from Demon Rock. Did the dead chi located there somehow affect you? The father asked, hugging him. I'm fine, father. Don't worry, we hid in the ring. He won't feel us, the sisters whispered. Let me see if you're wounded, the father asked, taking his hand, sincerely worried about his son. His eyes lit up with great surprise. Williams, have you developed spiritual meridians? He exclaimed, even more surprised. Even though the herb that grows there has a bad reputation, it still worked, so it was worth the risk, the guy laughed. Great! Great! The father repeated. Father, you need to fight for your place as head. I believe that you will succeed, he told his father. It looks like it's God's will. Wonderful. The man agreed with him, clenching his fist. Let's show Arthur's family how father and son become the new leaders of Arthur's family. Williams and his father continued to laugh, and now a whole week has passed. A week later, spiritual dojo. After a week of training, it seems that I have learned to control the fire energies of true chi. But as Sister Alice said, if I want to quickly develop my abilities, then I need a lot of elixirs. The guy concluded. But the cost is 5,000 large magic stones. The guy thought, looking at the black inscription gaping on a silver background. Not to mention ready-made pills. I can't even afford to buy the herbs to make the pills. Williams was upset. Fool, if you can't afford to buy magic herbs, then just grow them, advised Alice. Grow? Sister, are you kidding me? It takes 3 whole years to grow them, and that's at best. The guy said in panic. This is if you raise them in the usual way. But I have my own special method, she reassured the boy. Okay then. He resigned himself. Do you have azure grass and bloodflower seeds? Give me 5 of each. I'll bring them now. Wait a little, the man behind the counter answered the guy. Wow, who do we have here? This is William's trash. Are you buying herbs? Arthur asked with a malicious smile. Arthur, a member of Arthur's family. I feel sorry for your family because they have such a grandson. Laughed the daughter of the ruler of the city of Vohu, Megan. Williams glanced sideways in their direction. Brother Arthur, how dare such trash ignore you? The girl asked, provoking him into a scandal. Please hurry up, Williams meanwhile asked the seller standing at the counter. Arthur, are you looking for a fight again? The guy growled, clenching his teeth. And then a powerful blow with one palm. There was a bright red light glow around, rays of light, everything was mixed up. Clouds of smoke enveloped the boys. Did you dodge? How is this possible? The evil Arthur wondered. I am sure that you only trained your true chi, but did not train your body. How were you going to defeat someone with such speed? Williams sneered. Don't turn up your nose! Arthur exclaimed in a new jump, preparing his fist to strike. His clenched fist flew straight into the guy's face. However, Williams very deftly grabbed his fist, stopping the blow. How dare you challenge me, scum? But now all your bones are broken, the envious man told him with a grin. Arthur, I thought that you were only weak physically, But it seems that your chi is also very weak, Williams said. What? The guy growled angrily in response, surprised at his impudence. His anger knew no bounds. Look carefully, this is true chi, Williams said, moving his hand forward. This is how it's supposed to work. And began to show skill in the bright radiance of yellow rays. Which one? How can such trash like you? Arthur bared his teeth, not understanding what was happening. Ah, it's hot! Brother Arthur, why are you just watching? Teach him a lesson! The ruler's daughter instigated. Stop! Exclaimed a man from the second floor when he saw what was happening below. This is a spiritual dojo. How dare you be rude here? The man continued to be indignant. Sorry, my name is Williams, and I didn't want to disturb you. The guy answered him with respect. It's just that my younger brother is stupid, and I wanted to teach him a lesson, he said as he left. Shut up! Arthur shouted after him. This is your business, but how dare you disturb the master of the spiritual dojo during training? The man continued to be indignant. Arthur, today I'm letting you go. If you're not scared, then we'll meet at the ceremony for choosing the head of the family, he said, pointing his finger. Ceremonies? How dare you? You are not worthy, the guy shouted back. Now that I have spiritual meridians, I will help my father in the ceremony. I hope you don't lose miserably, Williams calmly told him. This garbage. What kind of pills did he take, and where did he get these powers? Arthur remained perplexed. No matter, the elders helped me with my martial art, Swift Axe. As long as I train him before the ceremony begins, there won't be any problems with this garbage. The evil guy had a plan hidden. Let's go, Megan, he said to the girl. Are you just going to let him go? She again provoked Arthur. Then I say goodbye to you. Williams said goodbye, leaving the room. Raise the fire energy of true chi at this age? It seems that the family raised a good alchemist, the students whispered behind the leaving guy's back. Do you think you can enhance the fire energy of true chi just by improving your alchemy? Then why are there so many alchemists in the entire southern kingdom? It's still very difficult. Without a master to teach you, you will not be able to prepare a single pill. It is the creation of the pill that requires costs beyond our imagination, said the man on the second floor. It's rare to see people of this age who have raised the fire energy of true chi to such a level, answered a voice behind him. Master, did you see this? It seems to me that this guy is very talented. Should I recruit him? The man continued to ask questions. No, said the master of the spiritual dojo. Send a letter to all alchemists in the city of Vohu. No one will teach Williams alchemy, the master ordered. Okay, the man answered. The Williams family's family estate. Bright, light, with loud birdsong. Williams thought about something while looking at the green garden. His smile lit up his bright face. Sister Alice, the dragon grip technique you recently taught me is truly amazing. I can't believe that I was able to grow herbs in just 3 days, he told the girl with delight. You're welcome, she replied, smiling. The dragon's grip is created from heavenly and earthly essence and contains a huge amount of vital energy, the girl explained to Williams. And by the way, your dragon grip technique is still weak. Right now, you can only grow this type of herb. When your skill becomes purer and stronger, you will be able to cultivate centuries-old spiritual trees. Alice continued, watering the plants. Dragon's grasp is really effective, but I still need practice, the guy said, looking at the magic herbs. How would you like me to help you improve your breathing technique? The girl asked, leaning towards Williams. If you ask very nicely, I will teach you with my mouth, she said, pointing her finger at her lips. Sister Alice, I think this is a little inappropriate, the guy answered, blushing. I was just making fun of you. Why did you take this seriously? Fool! With these plants, I can finally try to study alchemy, the guy decided. Sisters, do we really need so much food to study alchemy? He asked the girls sitting at the table, chewing. Of course we need a lot of food. We don't know how long your training will take. Do you want to starve us? The younger girl asked in response. I don't remember the last time I ate food from the mortal world, the eldest said without ceasing to chew. I don't know how long I'll be making these pills, Williams thought, holding the vessel in his hands. Doesn't matter. The guy immediately calmed himself and continued his thought. After all, he wanted change and decided to do anything to become much stronger. First, I'll try to use my divine instincts. And I'll start acting instantly, he finally decided. Divine Kingdom, where am I? He thought, as if transported to another dimension. The sky glowed with a yellow glow. Rays of light descended towards it. And some huge bird was approaching in free flight. Closer and closer. It was an unusual bird, with a large hooked beak, powerful legs, and very sharp claws like thorns. What is this? Williams exclaimed. The bird came very close to him. She was very formidable and powerful in appearance. I can't believe that you were able to enter the divine realm so quickly, and you are truly talented, Alice told him. The divine kingdom? The guy asked with his mouth open, not quite understanding what was happening. This is a unique dimension of an alchemy master created by my master with the help of divine sense. While you are here, your fire energy of true chi increases, and your alchemist abilities become 10 times more effective, the girl explained to Williams. That strange beast was created by your true chi fire energy, and its name is Bi-Fang. After passing the test, you will learn a special method of creating D-rank pills. The content of the test depends on the person, and it is up to you to decide how you will pass it. Alice continued. Huh? The guy continued to be surprised. Think carefully. The girl tried not to rush him. After all, this is a very serious decision. Then I must meet this bird, face to face, with a clenched fist, he decided, being really serious. The bird opened its beak and screamed after receiving a blow from Williams. A fireball of power tried to hit her. She, spinning in the rays of multicolored bright flames, again approached the guy. What? The test has already begun? He exclaimed, not expecting that everything would happen so quickly. Williams tried to fend off the bird's attack using his skills. He raised his hands up, releasing streams of forces that flowed with rays of yellow light. This is alchemical technique, he thought, bending down, dodging the blows of a huge bird. I won't lose if I use my fire energy of true chi, the guy decided, preparing a new blow. And he began to prepare a fireball to repel the attack of a huge predatory beast attacking him. Now he had something new in his hands. Thanks to his skills, he tried to cope with new forces. The fireball spun above him, illuminating everything around him with a bright light. The rays were red. It was an extraordinary sight. The guy stood with his legs spread wide, raising his hand up, spreading his force, trying to hit the bird. Looks like I was right. The test was for me to collect all my fire energy of true chi and repel the opponent's attack at the right time, the guy thought, realizing that he had done everything right. The bird, illuminated by a bright light, folded its wings, covering its head from the powerful force. What? Why did he divide into 3 birds? Williams was surprised. In a bright glow, 3 small birds flew out of one huge beast, and they again approached the guy, trying to attack. They were small but very angry. But what a difference, he thought, using his abilities in a new jump. Again a bright glow, yellow-red flames, rays of light, and eerie cries of birds. Wow! The birds seemed to be repelling the attack. They were small, but very strong. Why didn't it work? He couldn't understand, gritting his teeth. The guy started to get a little nervous. Wait, maybe the size of these birds shows the difference in strength. I have to use different levels of pure fire energy of true chi to deal with them, as if I were doing alchemy, and I need to get the temperature right. First, I'll kill the smallest one, Williams decided. Come on! Attack! The guy said with complete determination, gritting his teeth. Let's start with you, he said, approaching the smallest bird, deciding that she is the weakest. The guy began to use his new, untested tactics. Taking all his will into a fist, he continued the fight, and he clenched his fists and jumped into the air. He spun around as if he were a bird himself, and with his arms outstretched to the sides like wings, he launched strikes with lightning speed. Disappeared? No! She's behind me! The bird very quickly dodged his lightning-fast fiery rays. Williams made more and more attempts, spinning in the air in bright rays of light. Oh! The guy didn't understand why they were so fast. As fast as he was, they were not inferior to him. The guy was already standing on the ground. 3 birds, as if nothing had happened, continued to circle above his head in the bright rays of light. There were more and more fiery rays in the sky. An extraordinary sight. Because they became smaller, their speed and attack frequency increased greatly. You need to control your power and also avoid their attacks, and also counterattack them, Williams decided, continuing the fight. Meanwhile, the birds circled lower and lower, approaching the guy. With a new jump and a new flow of strength, he tried to attack the evil birds. There is a lot of fire and some kind of cherry smoke around. The restless creatures did not stop. What power! I underestimated the enemy, the guy yelled. He marveled at the strength of these little beastly birds. Once again, he shouted, using all his power, all his strength, clenching his fists with anger. Meanwhile, 7 days later, on the day of the head selection ceremony, in front of us is the Williams family villa. Leo, according to the rules of the clan, the head and his relatives must have good abilities. Your son is just garbage without spiritual meridians. You are not worthy of competing for the title of head. Noah, the 8th stage of martial arts. General of one of the branches of the Noah family, rival of the head. All the residents of Wohu City know that my son has great potential in creating various pills. You call him trash, but do the elders agree with you? Williams's father answered the boor. And what? Recently he got into a mess with the master of the spiritual dojo, said Nick, the 7th stage of martial arts. Noah's younger brother. Many people say that in the entire city of Wohu, not a single alchemist will undertake his training. And who knows how long it will take him to make at least one pill, Nick continued. Who said that I can't be an alchemist? Williams interrupted their conversation. I may not have talent, but I can make pills without a master, the guy said with confidence, holding a vessel in his hand. Nephew Williams, is it so hot in here that you're burning your brain? It takes at least a year to learn alchemy, and you only recently learned the fire energy of true qi, said Nick. Okay, I'll play with you, continued the impudent guy. He didn't want to let up. But if you lose, will you be able to bet something worthwhile? He asked Williams, gritting his teeth. Deciding that a guy like him is completely useless. If my son loses, then I will stop participating in the fight for the title of head, said Leo. I'm sure that my son has some kind of ace up his sleeve, he said with confidence. Thank you, father, the guy thanked him, smiling. Do you think this is enough? Williams asked his opponent. Of course, I'm glad that now I have one less opponent, Nick answered him with a grin. Great, the guy exclaimed with an even more impudent grin. Then let's begin, Williams said, getting into a fighting stance. It was as if he couldn't wait to rub this guy's nose in his face. And here we are, an hour later. Do you think that Arthur has become stronger? Asked his father. I don't think so, only if he's a genius of geniuses, his son answered. Cultivation in the divine realm is truly effective. I feel the fire energy of true qi at my fingertips, Williams thought, concentrating on his strength. It was not in vain that I snatched away from these bastard birds for 7 days and 7 nights. The guy remembered his battle with the nimble birds. Subspace ring. Sister, how long did it take you to complete the test? Alice asked. It seems like 10 days, or maybe 15. Who even remembers such things? Answered the eldest. So that means he's more talented than you? The elder teased her sister with a smile. Who said? The master didn't even help me then. I taught him very carefully, Alice answered, a little angry. But 7 days, a very good result. He has a bright future, the girl said with pride for Williams. The vessel with the magic pills swirled in fiery power, in bright rays of light. Open up! Williams shouted imperiously, standing near the vessel. Everyone standing there, all the warriors, opened their mouths, looking at what was happening. Go away, the guy said with a malicious smile, raising his pills into the air. These pills look much purer than those made by the spiritual dojo. Well done. Your strength is amazing, exclaimed the master. It can't be, you cheated. Arthur grimaced with an evil grin. These are real pills, Williams answered with confidence. Fake? By the way, uncle, I recently heard interesting news from my subordinates. The guy turned to him. They said that your qi is weak, and you yourself are weak in many aspects, Williams continued. Yang's shortcoming, weakness, flashed through Arthur's brain. Beads of sweat ran down his cheeks. I'm worried about your health. Hold it, take it, the guy said, handing something to Arthur. Don't be in such a hurry, he growled in response, clenching his fist. So Williams can really make pills. Conversations were heard around. Finally, our Williams family has an alchemist. In that case, shouldn't we change our training? One warrior turned to another. Of course, if an alchemist cultivator really appeared in the Williams family, then we will definitely become the strongest family in the entire city of Wohu, the second warrior answered him. No, I won't allow this, Arthur lamented, gritting his teeth. His anger knew no bounds. Williams, you're too smug, the guy did not let up. Today I will ask the clan elders to teach you a lesson, he continued. Arthur, have you forgotten with what disgrace you lost in the spiritual dojo today? The guy asked him. I'll teach you a lesson, he shouted, clenching his fists, standing in an attack pose with a weapon in his hand. Swift axe! Williams exclaimed, repelling the attack. How can his true qi be so fierce, he wondered. Again, the glow of fire, the sound of battle. All the soldiers immediately rushed to the battlefield to see what was happening there. What had happened? Williams stood in a fighting stance, in the bright glow of the fire. This is a C-rank technique, Arthur said, smiling. Swift axe? C-rank technology of the Arthur family, available only to the selected heirs of the Arthur family, William's father exclaimed in surprise. Who gave him this technique? This is against the rules, the father cried out in anger. Brother, he cultivated this technique, so there is no need for a trial, the warrior said, smiling. Let's see if Arthur can live up to expectations. Williams laughed as he continued to fight. It's opened, he noticed, finding himself behind the guy. Fist of the Azure Dragon, he exclaimed, attacking Arthur using force. Blockhead, I did it on purpose! The guy told him, laughing in response to the attack. Look at my axe, said Arthur, pushing him away with his strength. His huge iron axe looked very terrifying, but the guy was brave enough and had no fear of any weapon. Williams put his guard up with his strong arm forward. Now he had much more strength and could fend for himself with greater quality. I underestimated him. I can't attack him at this distance. If I get a chance, then I will only need 3 blows. Although no, 1 will be enough for me. He made a calculation of his further actions. If you cannot find the right moment to strike, then do it yourself. The girl gave advice. Sister Alice? The guy was surprised at her appearance. Brother, do you still remember the cry of the spiritual dojo master? At that moment, your consciousness was clouded. Did you feel it? The girl reminded him. That scream really clouded my mind, Williams recalled. This is one of the screaming techniques. It's similar to the Azure Dragon Fist technique you used. Now, just follow my instructions, Alice continued. Let the chi pass through your lips and teeth, his sister instructed him, hovering behind him while the guy sat in the lotus position, completely following her instructions. Imagine how chi comes out of your mouth like a mountain river, the girl whispered to him. Meanwhile, he was filled with light, strength, energy. Idiot, do you think you have time to meditate? Arthur said, creeping up to Williams. Fuck you, swinging your axe and making a jump over the head of the guy sitting in the lotus position, the attacker shouted. Now! Williams gave himself a command, opening his big brown eyes wide, as if he had seen the light. There was a loud growl, and already in the cold blue rays and a bright glow, the open mouth of an evil beast appeared. Dragon? Arthur exclaimed, not expecting such a turn of events. Dragon. I think I saw a dragon. Come on, son, you can do it, the father encouraged meanwhile, watching the battle. This idiot was able to fool me, the enemy screamed, holding his head. Where is he? Arthur couldn't understand, having lost sight of Williams. Are you looking for me? Williams asked, flying up to him from the other side, as if he had moved. Fist of the Azure Dragon! The guy lifted Arthur in the air with all the power of his chi. His axe flew to the side from a strong blow. Oh, it hurts! The guy screamed, and he flew to the concrete ground, falling with a roar, hitting himself painfully. Well, Arthur, are you satisfied? Williams, who won the guy, said smugly. Arthur, son, are you okay? Noah asked, looking at his son in horror, taking him by the chest. He was very worried about his wounded son. Father, please stop shaking me, the son screamed, all shabby after the unsuccessful end of the battle for him. Williams, what was that? He shouted at the guy, as if he was provoking a fight. Even though he is your brother, you seriously harmed him. How can there be such a cruel person like you in the family? He flew at the guy, waving his arms and pointing his finger at him. Arthur's every action was aimed at killing me. So why should I hold back? I didn't kill him just because he's my brother, Williams replied. Elder, do something with him! The sister cried, sitting on the floor, making Williams the culprit, not this right-winger. Everyone here heard what Williams said. He must be punished for his actions. Punish him. The guy's enemies rebelled around him. God, it's obvious that Arthur is the worst of all the sons. He couldn't defeat Williams, even after receiving a secret technique of C rank. They argued around. You talk too much. You're talking nonsense. The crowd was divided. All you could hear was hubbub and arguing all around. There is real chaos in the Williams family now, the teacher said, holding his head. How could you even covet the youngest daughter of the Hua family with such a pitiful selection? You are simply unworthy, the man standing next to him sarcastically. Who are you? How dare you insult the Williams family? The family relatives answered him. Then Williams's father quickly approached the man from the Hua family. Are you from the Wohu family? Leo turned to him, trying to understand where this man came from. As a representative of the Wohu family, I came here to convey a message to Williams, the man answered, raising his hand with a message sign. Williams, don't you dare marry Miss Olivia, he exclaimed, showing the sign. So you want to ruin our engagement? The guy said indignantly. How can they interfere so brazenly with his fate? And he was about to take a step forward when a sword was stuck into the ground in front of him, which the man threw in front of him as a warning. And this is a reminder. Don't take it as rudeness, but it's your own fault. Not only does our family want to break off the engagement, but the Hua family does too, he shouted, defiantly waving his arms. The Hua family thinks that only Master Harry is suitable for Olivia, and not some loser like you, the man continued. Harry, that same brilliant alchemist? I heard that at the age of 16 he was already able to create D-rank pills. No wonder the Hua family wanted to call off the engagement. Yeah, they are one of those people who don't keep their words. Those around them interjected, adding fuel to the fire. Since the Hua family wants to cancel the engagement, then why didn't they send someone from their family? Williams asked indignantly. Because of you. I don't know what such a beautiful and charming girl sees in such trash as you, but she is definitely against calling off the engagement. The man did not let up. I thought Olivia would never give up the engagement. In that case, I refuse, the guy rushed. Williams, I'm giving you a chance to resolve this peacefully. If you don't want to, then you will have to fight with our young master. He turned to the guy again. If you lose, you will be deprived of honor in front of 3 families, he said as he left. So you want Williams to fight Harry? The 2 guys asked in surprise. It doesn't matter. I accept the terms. Decide whether we will fight with the help of alchemy or with the help of martial arts. The boy accepted the challenge. Williams, are you stupid? You were only able to create a D-rank pill, and Harry is much more experienced than you. If you lose, you will deprive not only yourself of honor but also the entire Williams family. Arthur's father was even more indignant. Olivia believes in me and I don't intend to give up. I will win, no matter what it costs me, the guy said to himself, imagining the girl in front of him. Ungrateful fool, the man said with a malicious smile as he left. Okay, I'll tell you the date of your fight, he said as he left. Wait, Williams stopped him, and pulled out the sword stuck in the ground by this man, and he threw it with all his might. The sword flew past the man, barely hitting him, and stuck into a large log. He was left standing stunned, with a scratch and a trickle of blood on his cheek. With this, Williams decided to show the man that he was not afraid, but on the contrary, he was boldly waiting for the fight. Take this sword, your family out of sight, Williams said, pointing his finger with a menacing look. You bastard! The man got angry, clenching his big fists. He was so overcome by rage that he simply could not stop. Ill-mannered brat! He exclaimed, instantly flying up to the guy with his fists. His anger knew no bounds. It was as if a demon had taken possession of his dirty soul. I will kill you on behalf of my master, he shouted, attacking the guy. Williams, in turn, put his defense first, and the man's blow ricocheted off his strong hands. It was as if he had been thrown away from the guy, and Williams remained standing in place, not even moving. Drops of sweat ran down the man's face. He looked in bewilderment. Drool sprayed from his disgusting mouth with anger. Stop! Williams' father shouted as he appeared next to them in one jump. He tried to stop what was happening. Everything around was glowing from what was happening. Bright rays of yellow light from the heavens touched the ground. How dare the Yao family deacon act so disrespectfully in the Williams family's territory? Do you think no one will stop you? The father said sternly, clenching his fist. If I kill you here, the Yao family won't even stand up for you, Leo continued, furious at his impudence. The man stopped, clenching his fists. He didn't bother further, because I realized that Williams is actually not as simple as he seems. It doesn't matter. Everything will be decided in the duel, he answered, turning his back and leaving. Leo stood with his hands on his hips, looking at the impudent, ill-mannered man with a businesslike look. Son! He ran up to Williams. Father, I'm fine, the boy reassured him. After all, his defense was very strong, and there was not a scratch on the guy. Seniors, regarding the fight between Williams and Arthur, I think it is better for us to compromise. Williams will prepare the pills and help Arthur recover, and we will no longer raise the issue of Arthur learning the secret spiritual technique of the Williams family, Leo said, standing in front of the elders. Senior Oscar, are you satisfied with these conditions? Leo asked a question, respectfully addressing the senior. Yes, they do. Besides, we are still a family, the elder answered. After all the events, the election of the head of the family continued, and Williams began special training in the mountains. Standing in front of a high waterfall flowing down a huge rock, a confident guy was training. It was a beautiful view of a loud blue waterfall cascading down a huge rock. Sister Alice taught me the divine art of the 4 symbols, which includes the 4 true Qi, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Scarlet Bird, and Black Turtle, as well as ways to wield them, Williams thought to himself. Standing on the edge of a cliff, he imagined himself as a huge saber-toothed tiger. He was able to fully control his energy while enjoying his workouts. He threw blows, breaking rocks, roaring, and aglow. The power of his force illuminated everything around. It was an extraordinary, bright spectacle. This week, the white tiger ki finally began to have an effect. The guy rejoiced, smashing rocks in the form of a strong beast. He found outlet in his training. Although it is easier to use than the Azure Dragon Key, he thought, smiling tenderly. Now the guy could more and more easily control his unique abilities. At this time, William's father also did not stand still. He defeated one opponent after another. His training was also very diligent. One after another was sent to the ground by Leo's zealous blows, clenching his huge fists with powerful force. And finally, the last day of the ceremony arrived. William's father stood across from Noah. He was full of strength and energy. "This is the last fight. If you can defeat us, you will take the post of head." They turned to Leo. "Will you fight me one at a time, or will you attack together?" William's father asked boldly, clenching his fists. "I will fight alone," Noah answered, with the same confidence as Leo. These were two confident warriors. They both went into battle quite bravely. "Then attack!" he exclaimed, provoking the first blow. Full of courage and courage, Leo seemed to have returned far back to his youth when energy splashed over the edge. "Don't expect mercy," he said, releasing his lion of strength. Everything around was illuminated with blue flame. This flame shone blue, as if icy, and not as usual fiery. "Beast transformation? This is the technique of the 8th stage of martial arts. This ability activates true chi and changes its state, using the abilities of birds, animals, or weapons," they shouted in surprise around. "As expected from a brother. He uses the transformation of the beast very well." Those around him reasoned. "Let's find out who will ultimately remain in the ring," cried the furious Noah. After all, he also did not want to give in to his opponent. "Will it be my fierce wolf or your thunder tiger?" the man continued in a loud voice, spreading his arms in different directions. The arena in front of the estate glowed in bright rays of fiery light that their strength had studied. It was incredibly beautiful, although a little creepy. "Noah, I didn't think you would master this ability so quickly. Looks like you haven't been in that 7th stage of martial arts for too long," Leo exclaimed, sending a powerful blow at his opponent. "And you're not so bad. You spent all your time and effort training your son, and yet you still have such pure chi," Noah answered him. "I'm glad to fight with you," he continued, laughing. It was an interesting sight. Moreover, both men were strong. "Is this really a fight between people with 8 levels of martial arts?" Shouts were heard from the crowd. People were also interested in watching such strong, confident warriors fight. And so, an hour later, Leo, suspended in the air, crushed the enemy, attacking him with the power of the beast. Noah fell to the floor with a crash. "The absolute formation of a thunder tiger!" Leo directed all his strength while attacking. The roar of the beast almost deafened everyone around. Purple lightning and the mouth of an angry tiger. He was beautiful fighting in the violet rays. Noah coughed. Blood spattered from his mouth. Drops of sweat flowed down his hot cheeks, flaming from the heat of battle. "You lost," the man said confidently, standing in front of his opponent lying on the ground. After all, he threw him to the ground with a crushing blow, the greatest strength of a roaring, formidable tiger. "Leo, even if you won this match, you didn't get any advantages, did you?" Noah said, smiling with a bloody grin. The winner was also wounded. He held his stomach with one hand. After all, the enemy also beat him up by attacking. "Leo, your life is on the line. Surrender," the enemy's brother told him. 7th stage of martial arts. "Give up? How can I even give up when the role of the head of the family is at stake?" he answered with all seriousness. Moreover, he became the winner. Leo was squatting with his hands on his knees. He was exhausted after the fight. Williams quietly approached him. "Father, I saw your fight. You were great." His son took him by the shoulder and encouraged him. He was proud of his father. "Naturally, your father is the best. Just a little old." Leo joked at himself, and he laughed out loud. The winner was led home by the hand, since he too was weakened from the ferocious battle. No matter how strong he is no longer young, as he was before, when the excitement of battle was much stronger, and his blood boiled like a powerfully beating volcano. "Don't worry, leave everything else to me," Williams told him as he left. After all, the guy was already quite well trained. and there was still no limit to his abilities. "Son, are you sure?" Leo asked, turning to him. After all, he also suffered a little from a strong opponent. "Elders, please allow me to continue the fight for my father." The guy turned to the elders. Of course, he was completely confident in his abilities, even if he understood that this was all very dangerous. This is a competition for the position of head of the family. Your life is on the line. "Are you really sure?" Nick asked him. "Absolutely," Williams said with complete confidence, clenching his fist. After all, the guy was not going to give up the rear. Moreover, his father showed him such an example. "I will give you the right to strike first, so hit with all your might," Nick said, preparing to repel the attack. "Then I won't hold back!" Williams exclaimed with rage, flying up to him ready to strike. He was like a wild beast that had escaped from its cage, ready to tear its prey to pieces. After a week of training, I stepped into the 5th stage of martial arts. I wonder if I can cope with a person who has stepped into the 7th stage of martial arts, he thought. Why is his true chi so strange? The enemy wondered. She is not at all like others. Storm Fist. And Williams attacked Nick with a powerful heavy blow. Is this really our Williams? It seems that that blow was at the level of the 7th stage of martial arts, the elders said in surprise. Did it work? The guy was surprised with himself after a powerful blow knocked down the enemy. Apparently he still doesn't fully understand how strong he is. A person can use such abilities only by stepping into the 5th stage of martial arts. A whisper was heard from the side. I underestimated you, Williams. Nick turned to him, grinning sarcastically. Did not work? I hit with all my might, with the help of the Azure Dragon's true chi, the guy thought. What it is? Like a bird in the form of blue fragments and blue rays appeared nearby. She was absolutely gorgeous. Williams. This is my first time fighting using my beast transformation, Nick said, embodying the power of a huge blue bird. Well, how do you like it? He asked the guy. Beast transformation? But doesn't this ability become available only at the 8th stage of martial arts? Williams answered in horror. I had already stepped onto the 8th stage for a long time and was looking forward to the right moment to show it. In addition, I learned some fighting abilities. Well, now you understand, Nicholas boasted. Why can't you win? The guy said using force, being confident that victory will be his. Williams, meanwhile, was thinking about how to repel the attack and how to use his skills, his also incredible abilities. Fist of an Azure Dragon, and a lot of blue lightning, smoke, explosions, a bright glow around. They merged into a dangerous fight for life and death, taking turns attacking each other. It didn't work again? Williams hissed, not understanding what was happening, why his power again did not give the expected results. We need to increase the distance, the guy decided, running away from the scene of the explosion and the clouds of smoke. Too slow, catching up with him, flying from above in deft bird flight. This was, of course, unexpected, but very clever. Another blow, Nick used a new stream of strength, and with one kick sent the guy flying. Meanwhile, loud shouts from the elders could be heard all around. They watched what was happening with interest. Williams, if you had trained for another 10 years, you might have been able to beat me, said a strong opponent flying up to the guy lying on the rocks. Today I will become the head, he exclaimed with confidence as he approached the wounded guy. Impact of 1,000 glaciers, Williams said, jumping to his feet, preparing to strike back at the enemy. He was not going to give up, and it was as if he always found some secret strength in reserve. And in flight, like lightning, he ended up next to Nick. Blue rays around and the cracking of stones were heard during the battle. I don't have much true chi left, and the blow that uses all the true chi of the Azure Dragon didn't even scratch him. The guy clenched his teeth and was upset. If you can't dodge, don't dodge, he shouted, approaching the enemy with a new attempt. I'll smash you to smithereens, Nick said, opening his bird's claws. His anger, as usual, knew no bounds. It was as if the blood of an evil demon was flowing through his veins, and the warriors merged again in a bloody duel, illuminated by blue rays of light, blue streams of smoke mixed with a blue glow. Nick flew high, looking at the blast wave and cloud of smoke. Now the blue rays are mixed with bright flames and gray smoke. Williams's malicious laughter could be heard through the thick cloud of gray smoke. He was again infinitely confident in his abilities. Child, I admit that you are progressing much better than others, but you shouldn't be so self-confident in front of someone you can't defeat, Nick exclaimed. Can't win? I thought the same thing, Williams quipped to him, still confident. But it looks like I figured out how to defeat you. I have a chance, and I will fight to the end, the guy told him with a smile. He could not only with strength, but also with his rather sharp mind, defeat his rivals in battle. No matter how hard you try, you just scratch me, Nick answered him, smirking maliciously again, continuing to get on the guy's nerves. Do you really think you can beat me, Williams? The self-confident opponent continued to grin. Even though these are just wounds, the guy thought in response, looking at his minor but obvious wounds. But they show that I can break your ice shield, he continued, releasing the dragon of strength. This kid's techniques are so strange, Nick whispered with a smile, still not understanding what he was up to this time. In my next strike, I will combine the true chi of the white tiger and the azure dragon. I don't think that with my level of development of the divine art of the white tiger, it alone will be enough, Williams decided. The mixture of two true chi should break through his ice shield. Closing his eyes, the guy began to implement his plan. I don't care. After my next blow, you won't be able to stand on your feet anymore, Nick exclaimed, approaching the enemy. Do you think you have time to think? The guy flew up to Williams with lightning speed and growled. He was like a snake that crawled in unexpectedly. Ice spikes! Nick, approaching the enemy, began an attack with sharp ice spikes, throwing them to the ground. In turn, Williams skillfully dodged them. He was like a snake, very agile. Not bad. You were able to master the spiritual technique yourself. This is all because you use different types of true chi. With their help, you can make a flow of true chi that can destroy the flow of true chi of your opponent, Sister Alice told him. Flow of true chi? What is this, sister? The guy asked in surprise. Simply put, when you use only one type of true chi, the ice shield is attacked only in a straight line, Alice tried to explain to him. And when you use several types of true chi, they combine to form a stream with which you can break his ice shield, the girl continued. In other words, the more types of true chi I use, the stronger they are. So that's how it works. He finally understood. I got it! Williams exclaimed, going on the offensive. Something bad is coming. We urgently need to defeat it. Nick sensed the approaching danger. I will combine all 4 true chi into one and strike, the guy decided, carrying out his plan. He clenched his fists, which glowed with lightning at full strength, and prepared to strike. My meridians are very tense and my strength is leaving me, Williams whispered, a little confused. It's hard to even stand, he felt. But he continued to fight until the last, and again, he took a position of self-defense before the enemy's attack. You've finally reached your limit, Williams. Great! Now I will finish with you, Nick exclaimed, attacking Williams. Ice spikes, die! He said, making a jump towards the guy. I will win, he shouted back, clenching his fists furiously, preparing for a counterattack. Again, everything is in bright rays of light. Williams jumped, gathering all his strength into his fists. The great truth of the 4 elements, said the guy, using all his abilities. What? Nick shouted in bewilderment. It was as if ice fragments were flying around in a glow of blue bright light. A difficult battle ensued. Splashes of blood flew all around. The guys grappled, and then the guy with blue wings fell like a stone onto his back. His drooping wings spread out on the floor. His family around him gasped in surprise. How could this scum win the battle, they thought. I declare Williams the winner. Williams will become the head of the Williams family, the elder exclaimed. Williams, Williams. You could hear the applause all around, enthusiastic screams and applause. This is my boy, the hope of the whole family. My son is great. Leo expressed his joy the most. He really won. Williams smiled to himself while holding the class. The guy just fell on his back, showing his class. His emotions knew no bounds. Stupid brother. I don't even know what to say. Either you're very brave or you're a complete fool, Alice said, crouching in the lotus position next to the guy. Let true chi flow along your meridians. If you were an ordinary person, you would at least remain disabled, and at maximum you would die, the girl said, continuing to smile. Sister Alice, am I still considered an ordinary person? Williams asked, laughing, sparkling with a gap from a knocked-out tooth. Look, I'm still alive and full of strength. Feel it if you don't believe it, the guy boasted, showing off his muscles. What were you even thinking about? What if you died? The eldest asked him with concern and severity. It looks like Sister Monica is still worried about me. Williams smiled. Oh, you, the girl began as if trying to justify herself. A red blush appeared on her face. I wasn't worried about you, but about the contract concluded between us, she said, folding her arms in front of her chest. Monica said, still turning away her face, flushed with embarrassment, offended. Oh yes, I almost forgot, Williams began, and as fast as he could, he rushed off somewhere. Sister Alice said that the demonic spiritual herb would help me recover, so I collected some, the guy exclaimed, showing the find. Looks like it's time to use it, he continued, picking up the jar, and having poured the magical healing tincture into a cup, he drank it to the bottom with pleasure. Demonic spiritual grass is known as the property of heaven and earth, Alice began to explain. 1 cup can restore 10% of our strength. The girl continued with a joyful smile on her face. If it's so effective, I should soak the remaining half, William said with inspiration, opening his big brown eyes wide. No need, Monica said again, crossing her arms over her chest, as if knowing more than them. Demonic spiritual grass is the property of the earth, but it has little effect on people from our world, the girl explained. And that's true. You need to work hard to reach the true level of martial arts and help us. Alice supported her sister. The true stage of martial arts is getting closer and closer, the guy concluded. Fool, that's what ordinary mortals think, the elder Monica lectured him again. Do you think cultivators at the true stage of martial arts are strong? She asked, taking him by the chest. William stared in surprise at the girl approaching him. By the way, I remembered something, Alice suddenly exclaimed. Her eyes glowed with some strange, unusual flame. Speaking of the true stage, those who have stepped into the supreme or eternal stage can step into the true stage of martial arts. Did you hear me? For some reason, the girl shouted at him. I know, Sister Monica. Don't be angry, okay? He calmed the suddenly enraged elder. As if it wasn't her, the girl had just been replaced today. She's drunk. I just remembered that she had never tried alcohol in her life. That's why she was so upset, Alice exclaimed. And she knitted her eyebrows a little. I would appreciate it if you didn't bring up that incident. We can remove alcohol intoxication with true qi. The last time she got drunk was 1,000 years ago. Who even remembers something so distant? Alice said. Monica flew into the air, suddenly approaching Williams. Like a little nervous whirlwind. Now, she began, as if she wanted to explain something. She was full of some inexplicable energy. It is already clear that alcohol pushed her to do this. Let me train you! Hurry up and improve your body and mind! Wringing his hands behind his back, the girl continued. Help! Help me! The guy cried, calling Alice for help. Behold, Monica said in a loud ringing voice, seriously determined to teach Williams. The guy got to his feet, getting ready for training. Something interesting was coming up. However, anything new, especially anything related to power or something supernatural, was always interesting for him. Sister Monica has a yin body and needs to use her true qi to restore it. Although it's like cultivating with her, I can quickly increase the amount of my true scarlet bird qi, the guy thought. You can barely keep up with me, the girl exclaimed, pushing him to make more deft movements. She was clearly pushed and encouraged by the toxic mixture of alcohol. But if you block my attack, you will pass the test, said the sister, flying into the air, not to mention splitting up. There were many of her, about 6. Lonely tree strike, Williams shouted, clasping his hands in self-defense. In the violet rays, in the smoke and explosions, the guy was lifted high up. I can't stop this! Meanwhile, Monica thought, just looking at what was happening. Williams, she called the guy, standing on the edge of a high cliff, having lost sight of him. It was close. I almost died, he answered, flying up like lightning to the rock on which the girl stood. Sister, your blow was strong, but if you added true qi to it, then I would definitely be unkind, the guy said. You, Monica continued, turning to him. Now tell me, when did you manage to learn the skill of the divine wings of a scarlet bird? Alice joined the conversation. Just a couple of days ago. I learned it by chance during training with my sister Monica, he answered the girl. How did you not notice that his aura had changed? Alice said, turning to her sister. She just supports me very much, Williams laughed, scratching the back of his head. The guy suddenly jumped up. Drops of scarlet blood sprayed from his mouth. The sisters barely managed to dodge. 3 hours of additional cultivation, Monica said, continuing to be angry. That's right, the guy growled while lying on the ground. Outside Wohu City, somewhere in the mountains, scarlet tongues of fire are in the air. The training continues. Although the fiery wings of the scarlet bird are strong, the amount of true qi used to control them is simply colossal. I need to work hard to completely master them, Williams concluded, and he continued to spin in the air, improving his abilities. Hey, you mountain bandits, do you even know who we are? Asked some guy, approaching the bandits armed with daggers in one jump. And without thinking for a long time, he hit the healthiest one with a powerful blow to the stomach. Cloud sword technique? They are from the Williams family, Williams thought, watching from the side. A huge bull, raising a heavy axe, tried to attack the guy. The boy's sword was stuck into the ground not far from him. "Who cares who you are?" he asked the small boy, resting his axe on his shoulder. "Now I'm going to rob you!" The big man growled furiously, opening his vile mouth. "What?" he only managed to mumble. How Williams sent him flying with one kick, deciding to come to the guy's aid. "Lucky I was just in time." Standing in front of a sprawled big man and a crowd of armed bandits, said Williams, "How dare you rob my family's guests?" "Yes, you are very brave," the guy thought. Williams' family. "What are we going to do, boss?" the bandits asked their leader. "Let's attack together. This is Williams. He is at the 6th stage of martial arts. Don't go one-on-one with him." The leader gave the command. "6th stage? This is quite enough to deal with you," the guy told them with a malicious grin. "Behold my scourge of the white tiger," he continued, confident in his abilities. "Die!" the bandits shouted with angry faces, baring their sharp sabers. They looked quite intimidating. "Behold," Williams said, gritting his teeth with a smile on his face. He was full of determination and was not at all afraid of the whole gang of bandits. Turning around like lightning, he began to deliver powerful blows using his skills. "Ah!" the beaten bandits screamed. The guy easily scattered them all, like little inexperienced puppies. "You knew they were from the Williams family and still attacked them?" "Are you the mountain bandits of the city of Wohu?" Williams addressed the group of wounded men. "What nonsense!" the leader shouted in rage, again taking out his steel daggers, getting ready to attack him again. The guy dodged, again fire, lightning, explosions, and clouds of gray smoke. A bright glow seemed to fill the entire sky. "Too slow!" Williams shouted to the leader. From his strong blows, the men's sharp axes scattered to the sides. "We underestimated him. We won't win in a protracted battle. Brothers, let's retreat," the leader gave the command. He realized that they couldn't defeat Williams that easily, and a gang of losers tried to get out of the wave of the guy's mighty power. They were whirling around like a mighty evil whirlwind. And Williams, having won a victory over a crowd of armed bandits, stood silently on the sidelines. "They're kind of strange. I won't pursue them." The guy made a wise decision. "You are the young master of the Williams family, aren't you? My name is Lewis, and my name is Baz. Thank you for saving us." The guys thanked the guy who dealt with the gang. "I'm not that good at cultivation, which is why I almost lost to those bandits. If anyone finds out about this, the family will be disgraced," Baz said, scratching the back of his head. "I'm afraid these are unusual bandits," Williams began to explain to them. "Where did you get the idea?" the guys asked him. "Leave now. Their leader is at least at the 6th stage of martial arts," he answered, remembering the fight with the leader. He decided to keep the boys safe. "How many 6th-level bandits do you think there are in the city of Wohu?" Williams addressed the guys. "What do you mean?" Louis asked him with horror in his eyes. The guys were still very young and inexperienced. "I'm not sure myself, but one thing is for sure. You will never get hurt on the Williams family's property. Let's go," the guy reassured them. "You are very smart," Williams praised them, leading them away from that place. There was something still quite childish about them. Brother Williams is not only strong, but also has an amazing, razor-sharp mind. "You are much better than that fool from Noah's family," the guys said, grinning. "Are you talking about Nick?" Turning to the guys, he asked, with some sadness in his voice. "Brother Williams, don't you know Nick is so weak? And as a child, he was teased as a girl," the guys continued to say. "And he still wants to marry our Olivia." "But he's not worthy of her," Baz said. A large covered wagon drove slowly past them. The bay horse was being driven by a cab driver. "It is he," the guys exclaimed, not expecting such a turn. The cart slowed down a little and paused for a second. Through the window of the covered wagon, someone threw a sharp, cold dagger in their direction. The dagger was approaching the guys at high speed with the sharp sound of a cold wind. What a strong wind. They could barely stand on their feet due to the powerful gust of wind. "You three give your names. Don't consider my actions as rudeness," a voice came from the cart. "Williams, from the Williams family," the guy confidently introduced himself. Not the least bit scared, but rather angry at his insolence. "Who are you? How dare you create trouble in Wohu City?" he asked in response. Again, this Williams, thought the leader of the cart, clenching his fist. Not only did he recognize him, he also disliked him very much. He knows that this cart is Noah's family and still dares to say that? Nick got angry, and anger was in his blood. It was as if some demonic force was flowing through his veins. "Let's show him!" A voice was heard from the cart, and the two came out, coming closer to the guys. "Is this the same Nick?" Williams said, not the least bit afraid. On the contrary, he proudly and fearlessly straightened his broad shoulders. Young master of the Noah family, the best in alchemy. Forgive me for my rudeness, the guy scoffed. Looks like he knows how to suck up. Nick grinned in response, obviously thinking about how else to annoy his enemy. So pathetic, so weak that to get out of the carriage he needs the help of a maid, Williams laughed, holding his head. Yes, he's just like a flimsy willow in the wind, they continued to laugh. And Brother Williams knows a lot about jokes. Louis supported his friend. What are you talking about? Do you want problems? Nick responded, bursting with rage. Humiliating the weak is not my style. Mr. Nick, please calm down. Oh, you bastard! The guy exclaimed, going wild with anger and holding the dagger. This cannot be taken away from him, because always if he doesn't like something, the first thing he does is take up arms. This is too much! He did not stop, jumping with a fiery sword in the air. Does his true chi fire energy form a chi sword? It looks like Nick is also at the 6th stage of martial arts, Williams realized, and dodging the blow skillfully flew into the air. Nick meanwhile ducked down. You think you can scare me? Williams got angry, preparing his strong fist. Look, this is how you need to use your true chi. And he made a powerful jump and approached the guy with the fiery dagger. Again, rays of light, bright fire, chaos, explosions and clouds of smoke all around. Williams gritted his teeth in rage. His eyes glowed with anger. How long can you tolerate the impudence and insolence of this stupid guy, he thought. Another blow, he flew into the air and did a somersault. He spun around like a ninja, preparing to attack. Do people from Noah's family know how to attack just on the sly? Williams said in bewilderment. The Williams family and our brothers will not fight with you, the guy decided. That attack was just a warning. The 7th eldest of the Noah family joined. The people in Noah's family really are shit. There are 2 of them, and they are still attacking on the sly, Baz shouted with rage. Nick, since you are fighting on behalf of Noah's family, you must have manners. So why are you fighting like a coward? Said the elder of Noah's family. I have manners, Nick said in a strange voice, as if knowing something, smiling. After all, Williams was supposed to receive a letter. The guy continued to grin. So, in 10 days we will decide which of us is stronger, Nick said self-confidently, provoking him to a new battle. Williams became very angry, blowing steam from his nostrils like an angry bull before a fight. He hasn't been like this for a long time. He let out a furious cry, as if preparing to kill the guy, bury him alive in the ground. Now he was like an angry wild animal. With his strength, he furiously destroyed a huge cart in one movement with one powerful blow. It was burning in the red tongues of a strong fire. Williams, what are you trying to achieve? Nick exclaimed, looking at his flaming cart. I also know sound techniques, and since the 7th eldest used it, I had to return the favor to him. Williams said, grinning. Son of the Williams family, do you even understand what you're doing? Exclaimed the eldest of the Noah family. I'll see you at the Williams family martial arts arena in 10 days. The guy said goodbye as he left. In such a daring way, the guy accepted the challenge. Okay, both of you, go to the main building and attend the banquet. And I need to do some things. The guy gave instructions to Luke and Baz. Okay, Brother Williams, be sure to defeat Nick. The guys told him as they left. They really liked Williams, who was strong and brave. They admired his abilities, his incredible capabilities, that they definitely wanted to be friends with him. Once at the estate, the guy looked out the window, thinking about what was happening. Nick, this time, he thought, realizing something. Brother Williams, Olivia exclaimed, running up to him so quickly that the guy did not expect. She's like a bird that flew in unexpectedly. Olivia, what are you doing here? The guy exclaimed in bewilderment. He never expected to see a girl here. I heard that you will fight Nick, so I'm here to support you, the girl said with enthusiasm. Just wait. Olivia wrinkled her nose as if she sensed something. What is it? Williams asked her. Do you smell like another woman? The angry girl turned on him with a loud scream. She smelled that something was clearly not right here. Williams, were you dating another girl behind my back? She asked, taking him by the breasts. Yes. How? How is this possible? It's just that the elders visited me recently. Olivia, you're screwing yourself over, Williams tried to explain. Although sisters Alice and Monica are really older, so technically I didn't lie, the guy reassured himself. So as not to be considered a liar in front of your beloved. Brother Williams, you know. About the demonic martial arts sect? The girl turned to him. A demonic martial arts sect. The guy didn't understand after asking again. This is something new for him. They are the 8th most powerful sect in the whole world. I heard that the weakest of them is at the 9th stage of martial arts, Williams answered her. One person from this sect wants to meet you, but he said that you must pass a test first. Brother Williams, you can defeat Nick, right? The girl asked, worried. I promise you I will win, the guy promised, hugging her very tightly. After all, he was ready for any fight for the sake of his beloved. I knew that brother was the best, Olivia said, smiling. But there was melancholy in her soul, because they see each other so rarely and so often, part for a long time. By the way, I just remembered. Uncle Leo is now the head of the family, the girl thought. I must personally congratulate him, she exclaimed, leaving Williams. And she continued her way to her uncle. Sister Alice, can't even Olivia know about your existence? She's the one I trust the most, not counting my father, the guy asked sadly. Of course he can't. You are weak now, and if you meet one of our sworn enemies, you will definitely die, Monica answered him. And although Nick is not as good at martial arts and alchemy as you definitely saw that he can collect his true chi into the form of a sword, Alice taught him. And that's true. If I want to defeat him, I must improve my control over the fire energy of true chi, Williams concluded. Divine gates open, the guy exclaimed, starting the training without putting it in a distant box. Divine dimension. Again the fiery rays and the bright fiery bird with which Williams had once fought for a long time. Fool, you are not yet ready for the second test. Your body is weak and cannot withstand such stress, Sister Alice stopped the guy. But this is the only way I can develop quickly. The guy realized and decided to continue training. Since he was a desperate guy, he had a lot of willpower. This quality cannot be taken away from him. Williams glowed with a bright purple light as the bird circled in the yellow rays of the bright sky. She approached the guy, flapping red, fiery wings, reminiscent of the previous battle. It doesn't matter what awaits me in this test. The guy was filled with determination. Clenching his fists, he flew towards the huge, formidable bird. I'll still pass it, Williams exclaimed with the cry of a gladiator going to a mortal battle. Same. The guy opened his eyes wide, seeing something ahead. A burning mountain created by Fong, he thought, looking at the high mountain, down which streams of hot, deadly lava flowed. The second test is very simple. The guy decided, looking high up at the burning, huge mountain. He imagined that he could easily overcome this force. Blast this centuries-old mountain of fire, his sister Alice encouraged him, giving parting words as usual. The energy of true chi. Williams flew in flight towards danger, as if he himself were a huge, strong bird. Explosive blow! The guy exclaimed, gritting his teeth with rage and ready to win. Tongues of flame enveloped everything around, rays of hot yellow light, and the fiery power of the Red River. She doesn't care at all, the guy thought, attacking and ready to repel the attack. After all, there was something new in front of him now. Williams was at the very top of the fiery mountain, standing in a stance with clenched fists. But it turned out that not everything was as simple as he thought. I'm burning, he shouted. I just touched her, and it felt like all my bones were broken, the guy screamed, running. Brother, how much longer will you fight? Sister Alice asked, flying up to the guy, while Williams poured water on himself, trying to put out the remaining fire. Sister Alice, I'm hitting this mountain with all my might, for the last hour. Can it even be broken? The guy asked, breathing heavily. You're an idiot. The whole mountain is surrounded by flames, the girl laughed kindly at him. While she is surrounded by him, you won't even be able to attack her. Let me tell you something. Inside this mountain there is a source of Fang's fire, Alice said, pointing to the very top of the mountain. You need to get into it and use your body to absorb all of Fang's flames. Only after this will you be able to cause at least some damage to this mountain, the girl continued to explain to him, with the help of the body to absorb the flame. Williams tried to understand, looking at the fiery mountain in thought. You felt it after the blow, Alice began again, trying to get through to the guy. That just by touching the flame, your whole body begins to burn. She continued with a businesslike look, bending her finger upward. That's why I told you it's too early for the second test. Just give up, the girl advised him. But Williams did not want to give up. He again approached the fiery mountain blazing with heat. This is only the second test, the guy exclaimed, again clenching his strong fists, slightly burnt from the fire. How can I give up? He shouted without stopping. The guy was very stubborn. His willpower was very strong. Sister Monica, you have a yin body, which means you can help me. Williams had an idea. I could help you if I were in better shape, the girl answered, flying up to the guy. But now I can only protect you a little from the flames, Monica said, still a little weak. Are you sure you want to try? She asked him, because she knew that this was a very dangerous training. Sure. Even without the help of Sister Monica, I would still try. Williams, who was serious, told himself with confidence. I promise, Olivia, I will pass this test. Thinking about the promise to his bride, he rushed towards the fiery lava. How can I give you to Nick? The guy continued to psych himself up for victory, a ray of violet light in the midst of a hot red flame, like a direct connection with the sky. The sisters heard only explosions of hot lava and the cry of a guy that rang around the mighty huge mountain. This idiot. Alice was angry with him, worrying about what was happening to him. Finally, there is only one step left, the guy exclaimed. It was as if he had merged with the mountain, and as if he had been filled with fire. Williams, your persistence amazes me. I didn't expect that in just 7 days you would be able to absorb all of Fang's flames, Alice said, more and more amazed at the guy's stubbornness and strength. Naturally, I won't give up so easily. The brave, desperate guy did not stop trying to meet danger. His meridians and body are severely damaged. It's a miracle that he didn't die. But will he be able to go further? Sister Alice never stopped worrying about him. Well, that's all, William said, coming out of the flame. It was as if he had died and came to life again. All wounded, he clenched his fist, stretching his cut, bloody hand forward. Aye, he began, and hit the huge hot stone with his fist. More flames flew around. It was very hot there, and the guy was in the center of a hot mountain. I did it! William stood in the center of the fire, in the circle of a hot, blazing, fiery river. And now, 10 days later, on the day of the fight. Where's Williams? Where did he go? Chief, I have news, exclaimed one of the messengers. A few days ago, Williams said he wanted to go to cultivation, but didn't say where. But I think that he will return soon, said his father Leo in front of the people waiting for the guy. So Williams isn't going to fight, and the Williams family is really funny, Nick thought with a malicious smile. If I had known, I would not have agreed, the self-confident opponent exclaimed, spreading his arms to the sides. I don't think Williams will come anymore. Young Master Nick has been studying alchemy since he was a child, and Williams has just started. How could he even dare to challenge Master Nick? They said around him. Nick has no talent. Do you think that there is no one in the whole world who can defeat him? Exclaimed the guy who suddenly appeared. Williams? He finally arrived, and enthusiastic exclamations were heard from the crowd. Williams, so you've finally come? Nick said with a malicious smile. Of course he came. Someone must humiliate you, he continued to provoke the master. It looks like Williams has returned with success, his father decided, realizing this from his son's self-confident behavior. I must thank the sisters for their help. I couldn't have done it without them, the guy thought, remembering how much the girls helped him. 3 days ago. Williams, I didn't know you were so heavy, the sister said, lifting the guy. Sister Alice, he exclaimed. He is not sleeping? It looks like he's not so bad, the girl thought, carrying Williams on her back. Where are we? The guy asked, regaining consciousness. Do not move. Your body and meridians are too weak now, Alice answered him, continuing to carry him on her back. But I have a battle soon. I need to get there, Williams muttered barely. You can't even stand on your feet. If you use your true chi now, you will simply die, the girl told him. Fang's flame is composed of firstborn chi. If you want to calm her down, then you need to counter her with chi of the same strength. But you're lucky. There is one place in the whole world where there are such powers, Monica added. Can you guess where? Alice turned to him. The opposite of life? Is death? He asked. Is this an immortal demonic pond? Williams tried to make out. Precisely, the deadly chi in the pond will help you absorb Fang's chi, as well as speed up your recovery, they explained to the weakened, wounded guy. Then, he said with great impatience, I should recover in 3 days, Williams exclaimed, rushing towards the dangerous pond, and he jumped into the water without hesitation, wanting to recover before the start of a new battle. After 3 days in the demonic pond, he was not only cured, but also acquired a demonic body. Yes, he is lucky, the sisters concluded. Stop talking nonsense. Our family's bet is the 1,000-year-old snow lotus and demonic spiritual grass. What will your family bet? Williams turned to the elder of Noah's family. Don't worry about it. Our family will supply the 1,000-year-old beast pill and the dried fruit of life, answered the eldest. Both sides have such big stakes. Are you sure you want this? But what difference does it make? Let's just enjoy the fight, they said around. Both sides' alchemy furnaces were tested. The alchemical competition has officially begun, said one of the elders. Williams, I'll smash you, Nick exclaimed, rushing towards him with a grinning face. Take a risk, the guy also confident in his abilities answered, attacking him back. And here we are, 2 hours later. Williams in purple rays, like clouds, and Nick in a fiery glow. Don't sleep, finally a move from Noah's family, whispered sleepy Nick. Again the violet light, blue rays, and the guy in front of the magic bowl. They are ready, Nick thought, having finished his painstaking work. The spiritual pills of the 5 elements are finally ready, Nick concluded with a satisfied look. The son of the Noah family really maintains his status as a genius, said the eldest. 5-element spiritual pills are the most difficult of all low-ranking pills to make. This child from the Williams family will definitely lose, they said behind the elder's back. Just in time, my pills are almost ready, Williams thought at this time, finishing his preparation process. You're taking a long time. It will be funny if in the end you don't succeed. Nick grinned sarcastically. As always, trying to hurt the enemy with words. Let's see. I'm already finishing, Williams thought as he prepared the magic pills. 3 medium mind-clearing pills. Rate them. Turning to the elders, the guy handed them over. He prepared such a surprise for a long time and carefully. Mind-clearing pills! Nick exclaimed, drops of sweat running down his face in surprise. Is he kidding? One of the elders asked with a slack jaw. These are indeed mind purification pills, and their quality is close to C rank, the elder said, looking at the pills. Are these really mind-clearing pills? But he is only 16 years old. How is this possible? They lamented around. Yes, look, this is my son. Come on, come on. Leo couldn't calm down with delight for Williams. I didn't expect Williams to be so strong at such a young age. Thank you. It looks like the winner is already clear, the father continued. He was very proud of his son, and even when he was much weaker, like an outcast, he always supported him and loved him. How could this brat do it? Nick was seriously angry, clenching his fist and grinning angrily. He was simply bleeding from the wind and from such an unexpected turn of events. Well, where's your bet? Williams laughed, rejoicing at his progress. He understood that he would certainly surprise everyone with his new mind pills. Meanwhile, the loser, Nicholas, was left standing in bewilderment, clearly planning something. He continued to be torn with rage and envy. Well, I'll show you. Bring it. They turned to the man standing next to him. Now it's yours. The 1,000-year pill of the beast and the dried fruit of life. The elder handed over the great treasure to Williams with trembling hands. It's a pleasure to do business with you. The guy smiled after accepting the gifts. Meanwhile, behind him, an enraged Nick was preparing to strike him. Shadow sword attack. He unsheathed his sharp cold sword, which glowed brightly with blue light. The guy again wanted to attack him from under Tishka. Who said that we will fight only in the knowledge of alchemy? Nick did not let up, flying up to him with a cold weapon ready for battle. Take it, Williams, the enemy exclaimed, attacking him. He seemed upset. 3 guys with sharp swords were circling in the air above him. Williams, it is a great honor for you to die from the sword of Noah's family, continued the enraged Nick. Did you have fun? Williams asked his opponent, knocking him down with one powerful blow. How is this possible? How were you able to find my real body? Nick shouted in bewilderment. The shadow sword is really a technique of the Noah family, the guy thought, grinning. Now listen to me, Williams began to speak. Tired of ridiculous attacks from behind your restless enemy. You're so weak that you can't even hide your chi. No wonder I found your real body, he continued, taking the guy's head with one hand. Let go! Let me go, you bastard! Nick screamed. This time, I will free your head from all vile and dirty thoughts, Williams said, without letting go of the guy's head from under his hand. Fist of a true firestorm, Williams continued, sending the guy flying in one powerful movement. There was another roar, a bright violet beam from a strong impact. Clouds of dust and broken flying stones. Young master! Young master! Called the students who ran up to the prone guy. Williams, you will pay for your actions, one of the elders exclaimed. You attacked first, and it is you who cannot accept defeat. Do you want to show yourself as scoundrels? He answered the elder. Ungrateful child, I'll teach you a lesson, the elder growled, clenching his fist. The young child of the Noah family could not win, and now the elder stood up for him. The Noah family really has no honor. The Williams family members, already clenching their fists, could not come to terms with the insolence of the elder. Actually, you did the same. In the duel for the head, brother Leo and nephew Williams won, and we agreed with it. And now, Williams is the hope of the entire Williams family. His relatives continue to stand up for him. Brother Leo, let me help my nephew. We can't let anything happen to him. The guy continued. Take your time. Look at the situation. Leo reassured him. Don't worry, Uncle Leo. The girl suddenly appeared and smiled. Olivia, when did you manage to come? Her uncle asked in surprise. Brother Williams will absolutely defeat him. The girl, confident in him, continued smiling. Get it! Exclaimed the enraged elder, flying up and attacking Williams. The guy, in turn, repelled the attack with lightning speed, getting ready to strike back. Again, explosions, flying stones, rays of bright light, and Williams' high jump. The guy clenched his fists, ready for a new attack from a formidable enemy. Child, I know that you are very strong, but you cannot even touch me. The elder growled, grinning his evil face. I didn't expect that at that age I could dodge so easily. I need to defeat him before I run out of chi, Williams decided, being very angry at what was happening. He opened his big brown eyes, assessing the situation. My Dan Tiens, said the guy, falling to his knees. He put his hand on his stomach. Tan Tien are the centers of concentration of the flow of chi. Child, your left side of your abdomen was damaged, and you were only pretending that everything was fine. The elder shouted, approaching him with another blow. Burning palm, the man continued, attacking. But Williams deftly dodged the blow. I dodged, but what about this? The elder asked with a malicious smile. And he grabbed the guy by the hand. The guy put up a strong defense with both hands in front of himself. Flash of blue light. Williams. Williams' nephew, the family exclaimed, worried about the guy. Chief, stop the competition immediately. He's the hope of our family. We can't let anything happen to him. His relatives continued. His aura, the father whispered, looking at his weakened son. Uncle Leo noticed this too. His opponent has little chi left, Olivia thought, crossing her arms over her chest and sadly closing her eyes. You were wounded by a shadow sword, and now I wounded you with a flaming palm, the elder said, grinning. Because of these two blows, your meridians will soon be destroyed. The elder laughed again, spreading his arms to the sides. Soon you won't be able to do anything at all. The older man mocked the guy without ceasing to laugh. What are you doing? The guy asked, holding the man's chest with one hand. Look carefully, old man. Where are my wounds from the shadow sword? Williams grinned. How did your wounds heal? Who are you anyway? Drops of sweat again flowed down the cheeks of the surprised elder. If I had not deceived you, I would not have been able to reveal your weakness, the guy continued, grinning maliciously. What? The man creaked in response. Oh, you are shameless. Let me go, the elder continued, groaning. You hit me recently, Williams reminded him. Now it's my turn, the guy said, looking menacingly at the man. Thousands of firestorm strikes, he exclaimed, attacking the stunned, confused enemy. The elder flew away with a roar, falling with all his might onto the cold stone floor. Hey, are you already dead? I didn't deliver another 33 blows, the enraged guy continued, clenching his fists again. Brother Williams, stop, Olivia asked, running up to him. Seventh elder, these pills will help you recover. Take them, the girl said, bending over in front of the lying man. Olivia, what are you doing? Asked the surprised guy. The elder looked at the girl with hope in his small, angry yellow eyes like a snake's. Well, it will be sad if someone dies, the girl laughed, surprising Williams with her strange act. After using these pills, you will be able to recover by about 50 to 60%, Olivia continued. And now he's almost recovered, so brother, you can continue, the girl exclaimed, laughing. The elder, having taken the pills, jumped to his feet, his small eyes glowing with a crazy light. Something incomprehensible was happening to him. As expected from Olivia, great job, the boy said, clapping his hands. Would you like to have a drink with me? A relative asked Leo. Why not? Williams's father answered him with pleasure. I want to sleep so much, muttered the nephew next to him. Williams and the entire Williams family, we will never forget your action, screamed the wounded senior, who was taken away lying on a stretcher. Now, you will never be able to buy a single pill from our family. The man on the stretcher continued to shout. Stop talking nonsense. Your family won't be able to control the pills from all over the Southern Kingdom, Williams replied. Yeah, they're his brother. I'll walk you to your room, Olivia repeated, taking the guy by the arm with a smile. By the way, Olivia, you said that you want to show me some kind of master. Who is he? Williams asked the girl. Well, this, she began to tell, but then she stopped and they jumped to their feet. A silhouette appeared in the open doors of the house. Rays of yellow light emanated from it. "Who is this?" the guy asked, opening his eyes wide. Someone in a long robe and loose hair continued to enter the house, emitting a yellow light. "What overwhelming power! My body doesn't listen to me!" Williams exclaimed, not understanding what was happening to him. "Who is this?" the guy yelled. "Under the influence of my royal power, anyone below the 9th stage of martial arts will bow their head. If you decide to resist, then all your organs will simply be torn to shreds." The unexpected guest began to speak when she entered the house. "So, this woman is at least on the 9th stage? If I fight with her, no matter how hard I try, I won't even leave her a scratch," Williams whispered, gritting his teeth. "What are you going to do?" the guest asked the guy kneeling in front of her. "What do you think is better? To bow your head or to die tragically?" the woman continued. "She makes me bow my head. How is this possible? I, Williams, and I will never bow my head to anyone other than my master," the guy answered, barely holding on. "Master!" Olivia, standing nearby, exclaimed, "No matter how strong you are, I will never bow my head to you." The boy did not want to give up. "Quiet!" Raising her finger up, she turned to Olivia. "I feel his strength," continued the girl who brought Williams to his knees. Meanwhile, Olivia raised a shaking finger to her lips, very worried about her lover. "Harmony of yin and yang," the guy exclaimed. "Appeasement of one's neighbor." He tried to defend himself from the woman's power. "Symbiosis of aura," the guy exclaimed, gritting his teeth. "Life and soul are together." Williams did not let up, taking all his strength into his hands, spinning in bright purple rays. "My royal power," the guest whispered, not understanding what was happening to her. "Was it cancelled because of his strange powers?" the girl with royal strength concluded. "It looks like I hit someone," she continued, approaching the guy who had fallen to the ground. "Brother Williams," Olivia wailed. "Great, you're doing great," the guest exclaimed, watching what was happening. "So it was you that Olivia told me about? Can I ask you what happened just now? Did you want to test me?" The guy turned to her, already smiling. "And you are very smart and potential. You are much better than that bastard from the 7 Noahs," said the master. "You scared me to death. You said not to harm Brother Williams. Master." The guy was tormented by the question. "Master, what's wrong with you?" asked the father, coming closer. "William's nephew?" asked my uncle. Meanwhile, Williams rushed off somewhere without telling anyone. "I brought you tea," the guy exclaimed joyfully. It was as if he had received some great gift. "Brother Williams, I didn't tell you about her because I was afraid that you would get distracted from the competition and lose. Recently, I passed a couple of tests of the martial arts sect, and now the master has taken me under her wing." Olivia told her lover about her recent news. "The Combat Trials sect, the same sect in which the weakest member of the sect is at the 9th stage." The guy was surprised. "By the way, you said that people below the 9th stage bow their heads under the influence of your royal power." He turned to the master. "Exactly, Daddy. Olivia is almost at the 9th stage. With her talents, if she trains with me for another half a year, she will be able to reach the true level of martial arts," the girl answered. "The true level of martial arts," he exclaimed, looking at his beloved with surprised eyes. "I didn't expect that my little Olivia would become an excellent master," the guy rejoiced, taking his beloved's hand. "Naturally, I want to become the main character," the girl laughed. "Olivia is very lucky to be able to cultivate with you. I hope that in the future you will take her under your wing." Williams turned to the master. "Student Williams, I know what you're thinking. Although the true level of martial arts is far away, given your potential, you will definitely achieve it," the girl concluded. "If you reach the 9th stage, be sure to meet Olivia," the guy thought to himself. "I was so worried about Brother Williams. But it seems that even my master saw your potential. So now I don't have to worry about it," Olivia exclaimed. "Brother Williams, we will definitely meet soon," she said, coming close to him. "Of course. When I reach the 9th stage, I will definitely meet you." The guy grabbed her beloved by the cheek, wet from tears, and reassured her. The girl master, confidently spreading her arms to the sides, looked into the distance. "We cannot stay in the ordinary world for a long time. When you're ready, come to the Divine Kingdom of Warriors," she said goodbye. Divine Kingdom of Warriors. "I'll remember," said the girl. "Brother Williams," Olivia whispered, holding the guy's hand. She began sadly. My cheeks were shaking a little from the bitterness of a new parting with my lover. "Don't worry, we'll meet soon," Williams reassured the girl, assuring her. "I'll wait," Olivia answered him with a slight smile. And the guy stepped into a light greenish portal, glowing with hope. "I didn't know that our strengths differed so much," Williams thought, clenching his fist. I have to start training harder to reach her level, he decided. Father, the guy began, sitting in the lotus position opposite his father. Our family won't, right? He continued the conversation, folding his arms over his chest. Money is not a problem, but after the incident with Noah's family, we can no longer receive materials, and without materials, our family will not be able to develop, said the father. Our family still has 2 alchemists, one of the elders continued the conversation. Materials can be taken, not only from Noah's family, there are many ways to obtain them in the city of Wohu. Who needs this Neo family anyway? The elder continued. Master of the spiritual dojo, what are you doing here? Williams asked the elder. Don't call me master, call me progenitor, the man answered him. Ancestor? The angry guy asked, gritting his teeth for some reason. Old man, are you planning to make a joke here? He hissed, taking his gray beard with his fingers. Leo, calm your son down. The master turned to Williams' father. Student Williams realized his mistake. Please forgive me. The guy apologized. Master of the spiritual dojo. He used to know Williams' grandfather. Let's forget, of course, that you don't know me. But once I knew your grandfather and we fought with him for the place of head, the elder began to tell. I finally gave in and left the Williams family in a fit of rage. I then decided that I would no longer be involved in the affairs of the Williams family. It's not that I'm worried, but you, uncle, can't stop the alchemists from teaching me. It looks like you are still jealous of the Williams family, the guy seethed. No, the past is in the past, the master answered him. Now that the head of the Williams family has changed, and they have such a talented child. How can I continue to cling to the past, said the eldest. This time, Noah's family really thought a lot about themselves. Now it's time for me to do something for the Williams family, he continued. Uncle, you said that you want to go to the city of Wohu. What do you want? Leo asked him. That's right, I'm going to the city of Wohu to open an alchemical pavilion there, exclaimed the master. Uncle, there are a lot of such pavilions in Wohu City. Wouldn't it be difficult for you to open a pavilion there? Leo asked the elder. Don't worry, I have a good reputation in the Southern Kingdom. I have many connections and resources, his uncle answered him with confidence. I go to the city of Wohu first, and you, how to recover, go after me. With our strength, we can settle in the city of Wohu. The master patted Williams on the shoulder. Do I have a new grandfather? The guy laughed kindly. And here we are, 2 weeks later. The most beautiful city of Wohu stretches before us. Many people were walking around the city on such a sunny, clear day. And this is indeed a very rich city. If we set up our store here, our family will never need materials again. Williams exclaimed, walking around the city. Grandpa said to go to South Paradise Street. Is she here? The guy thought, looking around, looking at the crowd of people gathered near one large building. Brother, what's going on here? The guy asked one of the passers-by. We are looking at the showdown between the third son of the Lord. The passerby answered him. The Lord's third son? Williams asked in surprise. Exactly. Plus, he's the head of the pharmaceutical company Don Lucas. I have no idea how the Linden camp could have gotten into a showdown with him. What a tragedy. The guys next to him were talking. Although this is not important, we just have fun watching everything that happens, supported the second guy. Some sign suddenly flew, almost knocking Williams off his feet. He rushed for no reason at this sign, shouting in horror, Linden Pavilion? Third young master. The man turned to the guy. What are you doing? Asked his uncle, who went to resolve matters in the city of Wohu. What am I doing? Pavilion Master Linden. Why don't you ask your people this? The third son of the Wohu city lord Oscar growled. Look at my wounds, I can't even stand on my feet, he continued, sitting in bandages. You're lucky because I'm kind enough not to cut off his legs, said the lord's son. Pavilion Master, who could I have hurt him? Screamed the guy who was being held by the throat by the guard. Don't say anything, I understand everything perfectly well, answered the uncle. I'm not anyone, I'm Oscar, and you guys injured my leg. The third son of the Lord continued to express his dissatisfaction. That's why I want to take your store, the boy whispered to the side. Meanwhile, Williams threw a small piece of crystal in the air. He flew upward, illuminating everything around with bright yellow rays. The yellow beam, flying straight towards the enraged Oscar's stomach, hit him directly. The young master clenched his fists and screamed, ready to tear everyone around to smithereens. How fast? Is this a martial artist? Exclaimed one of the law enforcement officers. Samuel, protect the young master, the guard shouted. Wounded young master. Although no, just a young master, Williams thought. Didn't your leg hurt? How can you even stand on your feet? Wiley said, raising his finger up. "I," the master began. Beads of sweat ran down his cheeks, either from anger or from excitement. "Wait," he continued, pointing his finger at Williams. "Were you trying to kill me?" "How dare you!" the master yelled, continuing to drool. "Guards, protect me!" he exclaimed, choking with bewilderment. "Well, try to catch me," said the self-confident Williams, taking a fighting stance. "Are you an idiot? I told you to catch him!" "Didn't you hear me?" the evil master exclaimed, raising his voice even stronger. "It seems that your people have an instinct for self-preservation. Unlike you," Williams said. "Young master, his true chi is very strong. We shouldn't rush," said one of the guards. "You're just useless pieces of crap. Get out!" the guy shouted, pointing his finger at the exit. "You're just arrogant." "I'll teach you a lesson," the master continued, and clenching his fists, his entire body lit up with bright blue lightning. He pulled out 2 sharp swords shrouded in blue flames, blue transparent lightning, like current lines. "I will show you lightning and twilight rain." The guy did not let up, directing all his power at Williams. In turn, Williams knitted his eyebrows seriously, and preparing for an attack, flew towards the enemy. The young master growled angrily like a beast escaped from a cage, and Williams, with a sharp movement, approached the guy and grabbed him with one hand right by the throat. "What are you doing? What do you want?" The master switched to a loud scream, mixed with wheezing. "What do I want? You humiliated my man and caused destruction here. Now do you want to know what I want?" Williams turned to him. "Is yours." "Your store?" the master asked him, surprised. "Let me go first. My father is the lord of this city. We can just talk," he suggested to the enemy. "Exactly. You are the son of the lord of this city, and also the head of the Don Lucas Company. You have a lot of connections and influence," Williams told him. "It's great that you understand this. Now let me go." The guy didn't stop screaming, already wheezing from suffocation, and after hitting the master with his hand in the face, Williams finally let him go. He didn't care for him. "How dare you!" the guy exclaimed, falling to the floor. "Even my father never beat me." He continued to be indignant. "You bastard! If you bow your head now, then perhaps I will spare you!" The master continued to shout with a bruise on his cheek. Williams got up to speed and hit him on the other cheek. So much so that lightning flew all around. Blood gushed from the guy's nose. He had already gone completely wild with resentment and anger. After all, no one had ever mocked him like that, although even his own father did not love him. "You're just an abandoned child. Aren't you imagining too much about yourself?" Williams asked him. It was as if he wanted to put the impudent boy in his place, because he behaved like a disobedient, capricious child. "Even a loser like me knows that the Hu family is very famous for their thunder and twilight rain technique. And you can use them only at the lowest level," Williams explained to him as he approached the master. "Even though you are the son of the lord of the city of Wohu, who was appointed to the post of head of the company Don Lucas, still in the eyes of your father, you are just a useless child," he said, crouching in front of the master sitting on the floor. "Don't you understand this?" Williams continued grinning, leaning one hand on his cheek. "Even if your family decides to stand up for you, do you think they will fight the 2 alchemists of the Linden Pavilion?" Williams asked him. "No, this can't be," the beaten master growled, gritting his teeth. Tears were already shining in the guy's eyes. Everyone in the city of Wohu knows about his affairs, and even the Lord himself. A girl whispered in the ear of one of the young men. "This guy. It brings him not only physical, but also moral damage," the man answered her. "Now get out of here. And if you continue to bother me, then don't expect mercy," Williams said, pointing the young master to the door. "Don't!" he cried with tears in his eyes and red cheeks blazing like fire. "My father was too prejudiced towards me. He saw that I was deprived of talent, and therefore he used all his strength on my older brothers. The entire city of Wohu knows that the 3rd son of the Hu family is just a loser. They are all laughing at me." Continuing to cry, Master Williams told a sad story about himself. "I didn't want this kind of life. What should I do now?" the young failed master lamented, taking the guy by the leg. "Calm down," Williams told him. "Let me go. I tried to free my leg from the guy hanging on it. Child, news has come that the head of the company, Don Lucas, and his older brother, the young lord of the city, Johnson, have gathered a crowd of their people here," his uncle whispered to Williams. "I'm afraid it's because of him," he pointed to the beaten young master. "Now we cannot arrange a showdown with the Don Lucas Company, or with the Lord himself, the guy thought. You are such talented alchemists. Of course, you don't understand people like me. Oscar turned away and continued to cry and lament. Hey, Williams addressed him more calmly. His hand glowed with a yellow light, as if the guy was up to something again. Oh, do you want to beat me again? The master got scared, and he pulled back sharply. No, I just want to tell you that I understand you perfectly. I understand what it's like to be an outcast from your family. Williams answered him, holding the fire in his hand. What are you talking about? Oscar shouted again, getting to his feet. I, Williams, have always been the laughingstock of the Williams family, for a long time, he continued to explain to the guy. Fortunately, my father always supported me and did not give up. And I was finally able to change everything, he recalled sadly, squeezing the light in his hand. Do you want to work with me and get rid of the loser title? Besides, no one wants to be an outcast all their life, don't you think so? Taking the guy by the shoulder, he asked him, looking into his eyes. It's true, Williams. Brother Williams. The poor loser. The abandoned third son of the Lord exclaimed with joy. Of course, the guy answered him with a smile. Child, that side is extremely aggressive. Are you sure you want this? His uncle asked. Don't worry, Williams answered him confidently, without any doubt. Show me this upstart now, exclaimed the young lord of the city of Vohu, galloping up on a beautiful horse. Don't worry, Master Hu. I'll put on a wonderful show, exclaimed Williams, who had meanwhile saddled his horse. The girl watching everything that was happening sat with a thoughtful look, crossing her legs. Attack! The law enforcement officers shouted, running up to the gates of the building. Who's that noise there? Fire again, bright tongues of flame, guards flying to the ground with a roar, and Williams's malicious laughter, which was heard throughout the entire area. As always, he made himself known. You come to our pavilion again and again to judge something. Are there so many guards in the entire city of Wohu? Williams asked, taking one guard by the scruff of the neck with one hand and clenching his fist. Who are you? You crippled my younger brother and also beat the defender of the city of Voha right in front of my eyes. Do you even know what will happen to you? Oscar's enraged brother turned to him. Younger brother? Then it turns out that you are a young lord from the Hu family? He asked in response. The young lord, your brother, just destroyed my pavilion, and your guards burst in here for no reason, Williams explained, approaching him on his horse. Young lord, may I ask you what punishment is in store for you? He boldly asked the lord. What did you just say? The lord became seriously angry, not expecting such impudence. How dare you? Who gave you the right to provoke the majesty of the Hu family? The guy asked, urging the stallion towards him. I'll show you what happens to those who provoke the Hu family, the lord continued. He hasn't tasted William's powerhouse yet. Run! Run! The young lord is furious! The guards shouted. Williams prepared to repel the attack, and a counterattack on the enemy. He jumped up on his bold black steed with clenched fists, approaching the enraged lord. He was like a rider on a black horse. Where is he? Williams thought, noticing that the guy seemed to have disappeared into thin air. He just disappeared. One blow is enough for me, he decided. And meanwhile the lord flew closer and closer to him like a bird. This is the Hu family's best ability, Lightning Storm, the evil lord exclaimed. Bragging about your abilities? Beams of blue bright light were approaching Williams, who was ready to fight. The guy was ready as always. Golden shield of the white tiger, he said in response, putting up a defense block, crossing his arms in front of him to repel the attack. Again, bright lightning, blue rays of light, explosions and clouds of smoke mixed with dust. A very tense atmosphere. You won't be able to escape, because the hammer and lightning have already merged together, exclaimed the lord, raising the hammer in front of him. Blue lightning enveloped the guy. He put his hands forward. He put up his strong defense to repel the attack. Lightning intertwined with William's fiery power. The sky lit up with the bright colors of battle. What? Exclaimed the lord, soaring in the air in the form of a huge blue bird. The white tiger's golden shield is still not enough. If I had known that this would happen, I would not have listened to Sister Alice, Williams thought to himself. You said you want to learn absolutely everything. Don't be so greedy, the girl got angry. You're lucky that you're alive after blocking my attack. The lord squatted and turned to the guy. Are you lucky? I don't think so, Williams replied. Don't be so impudent! Get it! The master bared his teeth and tried to strike. What do you think? Continued the restless lord, gritting his teeth with an evil smile. I noticed a gap for a counterattack between the lightning strikes, Williams thought. Now! My turn! The guy ready to attack exclaimed with confidence, and stretching his hand forward, glowing with a bright light, like fiery rays flying towards the enemy. The Lord flew away, almost overturning the chariot. His wings spread out on the wall of the cart, and he landed on his fifth point. "How dare you fight me in Wohu City? Wait for the consequences!" the offended Lord cried angrily. He was enveloped in the purple glow of William's bright power. "Don't be angry, young lord," said a voice from the carriage. "You are both so young and talented, the future of the entire young kingdom," said the girl, getting out of the cart. "Why do you need to fight?" she continued, asking the two strong warriors. "Why don't you shake hands?" The girl turned to them again. "What do you think about this, young Master Williams?" The young lady turned to him with a question. "Do you know me?" he asked in surprise. Of course, it was as if the guy had been electrocuted. "Rumors of a fight between you and Noah's family have already spread throughout the city. Everyone knows about you," the girl continued. "Young Master Williams is a hero, and the consequences of Nick's loss could affect Noah's entire family," she added. "You don't think so, young master?" She turned to the Lord. "Jennifer knows that I have a close relationship with Noah's family. Does she want to convince me to take the other side?" the Lord concluded from the girl's conversation. "I have a small gift for you. Accept it." She turned to Williams again. "Present? For me? For what?" The guy couldn't understand. He stood in front of the girl in surprise, scratching the back of his head. "The third young master, the head of our company. His mistakes are our mistakes. This is how we would like to make amends," the girl continued to explain. "She's kind of strange," thought Williams. "That's what the uncle who suddenly appeared said nicely. She won't be able to fool me, so leave it to me," the elder said, placing his hand on the guy's head. "Uncle, you are so reliable," Williams exclaimed, looking at the brave man. "Master Jennifer is so good at such a young age. It's not surprising that you occupy a high position at such a young age," the uncle said as he approached the girl. "Thank you for the compliment, Master Linden of the Pavilion," she thanked the man. "We must focus on what happened and find some kind of compromise, right?" the sweaty uncle thought, taking the girl by the hands. "I overestimated this old man," Williams muttered, holding his head. The guy decided that he could not cope with temptation. "My third younger brother was injured. This is a blow to the honor of the Hu family." "You better explain yourself," exclaimed the Lord. "Brother. Big brother is not like father. He still takes care of me," Oscar mumbled, looking out from behind the table, hoping that at least someone from the family will stick with him. "The third young master is fine, but, young lord, it's strange that you weren't afraid to accidentally hit him using the lightning storm, don't you think so?" Williams asked him. "No, I don't think so," he answered, contorting his gloomy, angry face. "He knows perfectly well that he is useless. He's nothing but trouble." The Lord continued to talk about his brother. "After all, he treated him just as badly as the rest of the family. Even if I accidentally wounded him, it's better than being humiliated," he admitted, hanging his head down, confident in his words. "It worked and really worked," exclaimed the third brother, approaching them. "Brother Williams, your heavenly pill is simply superb," he said with respect, being grateful to the guy. "I was not only cured, but also gained quite a bit of strength," the guy boasted, raising his hands up and clenching his fists. "While I was treating the third young master after our fight with him, I also cured some of his secret ailments," Williams said. The third brother was inspired. "Jean, inform the Spring Breeze house to prepare the girls singing and dancing. Today, I will reserve a place there." Oscar gave the order to the law enforcement officers. "Brother, do you want to join?" the third brother asked the Lord as he left. And he, in turn, angrily clenched his teeth and looked at him with an evil gaze full of hatred. "If you don't want to, then I'll go alone," Oscar said with his hands folded behind his back and a sly smile. "Young lord, do you see this?" the girl asked him, pointing her finger at her cheerful brother. "You're just a disgrace to the family. Let's leave," he finally shouted to his brother, and clenched his fists and went about his business. "I didn't expect the third young master to help me," said the uncle, with a swollen red cheek after the fight. "Wait, did you have this in mind from the start? You made him understand that he was nobody in the family so that you could then defeat him?" the Lord growled. "Who knows?" Williams grinned, throwing a sly glance. "But now, everyone in the city knows Voka," the guy began to say to his uncle. "That our Linden family pavilion is open," the guy exclaimed joyfully and spread his arms to the sides. "And here we see a city, next to the city of Vohu, just as green, clear, beautiful, with singing birds and smelling bright flowers. I didn't expect that there would be such a great place near the city of Wohu. There is a lot of spiritual energy here. I feel so comfortable," Alice thought while lying down, enjoying nature and relaxation. "I'm sure you can't sit in that ring for long," Monica said, also resting and splashing her feet in the water. "I think you do too." My sister laughed in response. Both girls rejoiced in the sun, clear beautiful weather, and a bright day. It's really much easier to cultivate here, Williams said with a smile. The atmosphere is much better and more pleasant. Everything here is fragrant, blooms and smells. You can train and enjoy the atmosphere. The flowers here are saturated with spiritual energy, which is why they grow very quickly, he told the girls while walking along the flower meadow. Because of this, I will be able to obtain a golden spiritual fruit within 3 months, although it has been growing for thousands of years, Williams reasoned, touching the plant. Don't tear it down! Someone exclaimed, and threw an iron axe in his direction. The guy barely managed to dodge, but since he is always ready for various surprises, he jumped back in time. Who is this? The guy asked, frowning, clenching his fists. The axe hit the wooden crossbar next to him. He was seriously angry. Who dared to attempt on his life again? I'm studying these plants, so don't you dare pick them, a man with an axe on his shoulder told him. He approached Williams in a clearly determined mood. Because of you guys, I lost my appetite. Brother, let's teach them a lesson, said Alice. The main thing is to be gentle with them. Monica smiled as if mocking. Break them and scatter their blood on the ground, the eldest said with excitement, spreading her arms to the sides. And in your opinion, this is called tenderness. Williams looked at the girl in surprise. Don't you know who we are? How dare you take our jobs? A healthy man with a beard exclaimed in a loud voice. It was as if he was the owner there, and these herbs belonged only to him. Have we met before? The guy thought, remembering. It was as if there was something familiar about this overweight man. Yes, he had clearly seen it somewhere before. So it's him! Williams exclaimed, apparently remembering that he had already met this guy. Moreover, I remembered how I attacked him once. He remembered how he taught him a good lesson. Apparently the man wanted to continue. Can't you hear me? Don't blame me for my rudeness, the big man shouted, flying up to him and bearing his iron axe. Williams, without thinking twice, rushed towards him, preparing his strong steel fists. Well, you're about to snatch it from me again, the guy thought, preparing to stun him with the first blow. And having dodged very quickly with one jump, he ended up behind his back. After all, he had already taught him a lesson once. Now you will remember me, Williams whispered. Again, violet rays, an explosion, clouds of smoke and dust. Shards of stones flew around, noise, din, screams. Everything was mixed up around. 2 months ago, you were the mountain bandit of Wohu City. So why now? Are you a collector of medicinal herbs? Williams asked the strange man with knitted eyebrows. What? What did you say? The big man tried to express his dissatisfaction. Blood sprayed from his mouth as the boy held his head with his strong hands. If you want to talk, then I will use my white tiger fist, Williams exclaimed, preparing to use his best skills. Since the man wanted to continue, the guy did not deprive him of this opportunity. It hurts! The big man screamed like a girl, completely shrouded in purple threads that sparkled on him like lightning. Get out of here! Williams said, throwing him away, sending the overweight man flying, chasing him away with your blows. You shouldn't have contacted me, you thug, he continued. From his force, stones scattered around. Purple lightning even broke huge rocks. How strong the guy became by curbing his abilities. I remembered. This is true Qi. You are a young master from the Williams family, exclaimed the bearded man, lying on the ground after a strong fall. Finally, it dawned on him who carried out such strong blows. Now tell me, who are you? Why did you pretend to be a bandit before this? The guy was standing next to his head and asked. After all, this man was a bandit yesterday and today he is already a herbalist. My name is Ricci, and I am the herbalist of the Well family. I usually collect grass for Noah's family. The man fell to his knees and wailed. He didn't want to be beaten again. For Noah's family? Williams wondered, knitting his eyebrows together seriously as usual. This family again, the guy thought to himself, grimacing slightly. Yes, exactly. Young Master Williams. Yes, the 7th eldest of the Noah family ordered me to do this, he continued to confess. You are one of those who disturbed the peace during the Williams family banquet, the guy said. I always knew that he was a creepy old man, Monica said, opening one eye slightly, as if looking down on the man a little. After all, he still interfered with their rest. In that case, I'll take it out on you, the guy said, clenching his fists and preparing for a new attack, smiling. He was clearly making fun of him. After all, the man was already seriously scared. Please forgive me. I was forced. "Young Master Williams, if you let me go, I will help you deal with Noah's family," the big man managed to shout. He was ready to make any concessions just to remain intact. "Nick, now he's heading to the city of Dongping," the man admitted to him. He was ready to tell everything, just not to taste the guy's powerful fist again. "What?" Williams asked, lost in thought and now making new plans. He didn't even think about touching this poor, frightened man anymore. Meanwhile, some chariot was heading down the city street. The driver gradually urged his horse on. She looked quite rich. "Get out!" he shouted, scattering everyone around. "From the road! Don't you see that this is the carriage of Noah's family?" The cab driver continued to be indignant and wave his hands. "Noah's family?" Williams said, preparing for the attack. Again planning something. Since he was always ready, he was not at a loss again. This family constantly crosses his path, and enveloped in violet light, as if by lightning, he rushed with complete confidence towards the impudent man driving the carriage. He's tired of them constantly getting in his way. He accelerated into a jump, using his incredibly great strength, saturated with multicolored bright lightning, burning like current. He approached the exit towards a huge wooden arch, holding a purple beam behind his back. He was full of energy and ready to attack. "I was looking for you, Nick," Williams exclaimed, turning his head. Apparently, I've been wanting to give him an arrogant, self-confident face for a long time. The carriage shattered instantly after the guy's first blow, and he continued to approach the passengers lying on the ground. He was too hostile towards this family. "This is true chi. What is this, Williams? What are you doing here?" the elder growled, twisting his evil face and with snake eyes. "Why don't you ask yourself this?" Williams said as he approached. "If you don't want others to know what you're doing, then don't expose yourself," the guy continued. "Stop talking nonsense. Seventh eldest, let's teach him a lesson together," Nick exclaimed. "This child's chi is so strange. I need to use this enhancement pill," the elder whispered, deciding to play it safe. "I know that you guys are unscrupulous, but it's okay," Williams said, preparing if anything to repel the attack. "Nick, let's attack together," the man shouted. "I understand you, seventh eldest," Nick answered. They were clearly afraid to attack one by one, realizing that they were much weaker than the brave, self-confident guy. "Attack of the Shadow Sword!" Nick exclaimed and was upset. It actually became 3 again. This guy also had no intention of giving in to Williams, as he had the same feelings for him as his opponent. "Burning Palm!" the elder shouted, and spread his huge hands wide, blazing with bright red fire. The two of them began to use force, attacking the guy. There is a lot of fire around, tongues of flame and 3 Nicks flying nearby. He used his power, becoming upset as if he had been cloned. With their blows, they made a huge black hole in the Oswald. Clouds of smoke made it difficult to see clearly. Stones were flying around. Bright glow and light lightning. "Did it work?" Nick asked, rubbing his chin. Beads of sweat ran down his cheeks again. Since he was still afraid of Williams, he simply tried not to show it. "This bastard! He should have been crushed into dust!" the elder screamed, furiously clenching his yellow, crooked teeth, not understanding what is happening. In 2 months, the Shadow Sword attack has reached the 7th stage, as expected from the genius of the Noah family. William's voice was heard in the thick gray smoke. "Unfortunately, I am developing much faster," the guy exclaimed, emerging from the cloud of smoke safe and sound without a single scratch. "What? How is this possible?" the men shouted in bewilderment. They were much more exhausted using force than Williams, who defended himself with ease. "My turn," the guy exclaimed, revealing his sword of purple lightning, ready to attack with full confidence. He decided to surprise them again. The bearded man opened his small snake eyes, which glowed yellow against the backdrop of Williams's bright lightning. Violet rays enveloped the men, squeezing Nick's throat as if in a vice. He could no longer speak normally. If he tried to say something, it was only with a wheeze. They tried to scream, splashing drops of blood from their wounded mouths, completely enveloped in the guy's power. They didn't know how to get out of the guy's strong shackles, and not only didn't they know, they couldn't break free from them. "Williams, what do you want?" The elder finally turned to him. Blood was also flowing from his nose. They were both fading. Slowly but surely, the guy did his job. "Do you want to kill us?" Nick asked, streams of salty tears mixed with blood flowing from his eyes. "Noah's family will not forgive you for this. The consequences will overtake you," he continued to lament. "Sister Alice said that White Tiger Key is used in battle to increase my strength," Williams thought, not wanting to retreat. "Well, sometimes a massacre cannot be avoided," The guy continued the attack. He was clearly planning something terrible. No. Nick was scared. He realized that Williams was too serious, and the guy didn't want to stop. He had never seen him like this before. There was more and more blood. The guys fell to the ground, with their palms outstretched to the sides. You got what you deserved, the guy said goodbye. And here in front of us is the estate. A cart full of something is standing in front of the entrance. A healthy man enters the house. Young Master Williams, I brought the herbs that you asked for. Ricci turned to Williams. Help him unload, the guy asked the student. Okay, he answered. Sit down and have some tea. He invited Ricci to drink tea while the cart was unloaded. Young Master Williams, it's so noisy outside right now. They say that Nick's carriage disappeared, but the bodies could not be found. He told the guy about what was happening around him. So what? The guy said in response, remembering what happened. Don't worry, I don't know anything. I only know that Noah's family's carriage has disappeared, and that this is a good chance for the Linden Pavilion, exclaimed the bearded man Ricci, loyal to him. Great. Then I'll leave the collection of medical materials to you, Williams told him. Don't worry, Master. No, Boss Williams, the man answered him. I'm lucky that I'm on his side, Ricci said while drinking a cup of tea with a smile on his face. He was glad that he became friends with the guy and did not remain his enemy. Child, why did you call me so sharply? The uncle exclaimed, running to the guy. What's going on? Ricci was scared, almost spilling the tea. Uncle, look, I have a gift for you, the guy reassured him with a smile. Which present? Don't be so mysterious, the man asked impatiently. Here it is, open it, and handed over some small wooden box to my uncle. She was somehow unusual, as if she attracted me to her. If you called me for some kind of garbage, I will beat you, the uncle joked, though with a very serious, stern expression on his face. Opening the box, he was slightly pushed away by a bright stream of yellow light. It seemed like she had some kind of extraordinary power, divine fruit of thousands of years. Golden spiritual fruit? In front of him lay beautiful, bright, like fiery fruits in a box. It takes thousands of years to grow a tree and the same number of years to harvest the fruits, the uncle shouted wildly and with great surprise. This have not happened before. These are simply brilliant results, lightning-fast progress. Plus, it's of excellent quality. Every alchemist dreams of something like this, the uncle continued. Uncle, you are drooling, Williams said, smiling. To such an extent did my uncle understand the power of these extraordinary fruits. Where did you find them? Holding such incredible fruits in his hand, the surprised uncle continued with saliva on his chin. His surprise simply knew no bounds. I used a special cultivation method to obtain this spiritual golden fruit, the guy explained. The dragon grip cultivation technique is truly amazing. Now it's clear why Sister Alice said not to tell anyone about her, Williams realized, raising his finger up. After all, he was very grateful to his sister for her advice and help, both younger and older. They both play a big role in his life. Okay, uncle, hold them. Our pavilion is starting to grow, so I'll use them to hire people, he told his uncle, leaving the box. Great! With such a bait, all the best alchemists will gather here, the uncle exclaimed with enthusiasm. After all, their plan was to recruit the best employees who would undergo a serious selection process. I want to try myself, he shouted from the crowd. Where do you go ahead of the line? I've been waiting here for about 2 weeks, they answered the upstart. The soldiers wanted to get into William's service so badly that they waited in huge long lines for weeks. If I don't become your employee, can I at least smell the spiritual golden fruit? Just let me look at him, the voice from the queue continued. Many waited for weeks, wanting to get into the service of the Williamses. Child, now we don't have to worry about hiring people, the uncle turned to the guy standing near the door. Of course, with so many applicants, you will never have to think about a shortage of employees again. Who is responsible for these riots? Asked the uncle, also looking out the window, watching what was happening there. Come out, a man said with impudence, approaching the pavilion. He behaved unceremoniously, waving his arms and shouting rudely. Change the name of your pavilion! You are not worthy of him, the man exclaimed, and made a rude gesture with his hand. Hey, old man, don't you have anything better to do? What's wrong with the name of our pavilion? Williams asked, knitting his eyebrows. He couldn't understand why this strange man clung to the name of the pavilion. I am King Dan, the man introduced himself, already more cultural, as if transformed. King Dan? Asked the uncle, very surprised. It seems he understood who this interesting man was who started a brawl on their territory. The man began to approach Williams, holding something in his hand. It's interesting, but something inexplicable energy came from this. Rays of bright light, some kind of intense heat. Juan Oven, in his hands was some kind of bowl glowing with yellow fire and burning with extraordinary bright power. It looks like it's Uncle Daniel. He's not only strong, the guy thought, but he also has great abilities. The guy also realized who this man was. He possesses the Huang stove. In good hands, this is not only a high-level furnace, but also a dragon-level weapon, Williams thought to himself. He was already a little envious of the owner of such a thing. Are you blind? If you know what it is, then change your name right now, the man began to threaten them. Why did he pick on the name of their pavilion? With such and such abilities, how dare he call himself a king? Alice was indignant. You can defeat him, the girl said with a wink, clearly having already calculated his strength in this battle. Sister Alice, are you serious? Williams asked her, not believing his ears. After all, he did not understand how he could defeat such a strong man. Of course, Huang's stove is a precious thing. You feel it too, right? She asked the guy. The girl hinted that he might become the owner of this extraordinary stove. If you can get it, the girl thought, licking her lips, giving him fresh thoughts. What if we hold a competition? He suggested to Daniel, clenching his fists, finally realizing that he could become the owner of this beautiful stove full of strength and power. If, of course, if you believe Alice's words, you can win. What? A competition with you? The man of such audacity was surprised. After all, he considered himself invincible in a fight with a guy. But in this case, he wanted to fight for something, and not just like that. If I lose, then the name changes, and I will give you the golden spiritual fruit. He offered a deal, again being confident that he would win, although this man is much stronger than others. But if you lose, the uncle turned to Williams. The guy thought about it. What, uncle, do you want to bake it? The guy asked, folding his arms over his chest. He decided to try to compete for such a good thing. Moreover, Alice's sister and uncle looked at her so seductively. It was as if this oven was tempting them both. He's just an old man with only one stove. If he loses, he'll be left with nothing. Williams reassured uncle. The man laughed loudly, confident of your victory. He thought how some sucker could defeat him. Moreover, I thought that the guy doesn't have as many abilities as he has. In that case, I'll install this stove, Juan. Dan agreed to the deal. He was clearly more than confident of his victory, especially considering that he is older and clearly much more experienced than this self-confident boy. Williams grinned, a new plan of attack against the formidable strong man simmering in his mind. He always tried to think several moves ahead, and his youth allowed him to take such bold, reckless steps. To keep things fair, my grandson will be using my stove. Is everyone okay with this? Daniel asked, spreading his arms to the sides. Okay, I believe in the reputation of the Linden Pavilion, the man said. Uncle, why should I use your stove? Williams asked. You'll find out later, the uncle answered, handing him a stove blazing with a bright fire. Again, I wanted to help my nephew in this fight. Come out, the uncle shouted, throwing the vessel up. Everything around was illuminated with bright light. It glowed with a yellow and red glow. It was very beautiful, exciting, and creepy at the same time. The man, meanwhile, raised his head up, closing his eyes as if he was meditating. It was as if he was in no hurry to attack. He was very calm in his actions, as if he was not preparing for a fight. Get in place! The uncle exclaimed, while the stove was spinning in the air, in a bright glow of yellow rays. Now, wait for your furnaces and bring your divine energy into them, continued the uncle. Is this a competition of alchemists? Williams was surprised. Why does everything have to be so complicated? The guy puzzled. Just do what they say, you talk too much. Uncle figured it out. Williams obeyed, looking at the streams of yellow fire. They seemed to fascinate with their dancing fiery tongues. What is this? The guy was surprised. The fire turned into a cherry-colored glow. It was very gloomy around. The lightning seemed to darken. From bright rays they turned into dark, creepy, like old veins, with bad black blood. It was as if two huge beasts, with sharp long fangs and wings like those of bats, had been reborn from it. They growled, making even more terrible sounds, heating up the atmosphere. Look, child. This is how we, high-level alchemists, work, said the uncle. Uncle? Williams exclaimed, not understanding what was happening. They seemed to be enjoying what was happening. You both entered into a divine change by putting your true chi into my furnace, the guy realized. Now, this is not only a competition in alchemy, but also a competition in the control of your divine beasts. He heard his uncle's voice. These are medical bats, the man continued to instruct him, as if he was trying to surprise Williams, and released creepy, strange creatures outside. Divine beasts? I didn't expect that this divine dimension would remind me of that change, Dan said. This is not a divine dimension. Williams thought with dissatisfaction, frowning his eyebrows. He wondered where in the divine dimension there could be such terrible, vile creatures with gaping jaws. This is just an imitation of it. In fact, this is not a divine dimension, Alice whispered to him, next to him from the ring. It was as if she was reading Williams's thoughts, although their operating principle is similar. Well, brother, are you still confident in yourself? The girl asked, folding her hands on her chest, smiling sweetly again. Of course, I'm sure I spent a lot of time in this place, he answered his sister, folding his hands in a cross, as a form of protection. It seems that your first alchemical test took place in the divine dimension. I'll help you a little. First, you have to get rid of these bats, Daniel said, raising his finger up. It is not necessary. I just need to control my divine beast, Williams replied. Fong, go ahead, the guy exclaimed, embodying his huge fiery bird. He decided to attack with her. She stood on two powerful paws, spread her huge wings, opening her hooked, sharp beak with the wild roar of a fiery beast. How long have you trained to create such a beast from your chi? The man asked the guy. In that case, I won't hold back, he exclaimed in rage, preparing to attack, trying to mentally crush the guy. And Daniel, with a menacing look, with all his might, sent his power to the guy in the form of fiery black bats. Williams's huge bright bird, opening its powerful beak, released a fiery yellow ball at him. She flew towards danger, furiously attacking and repelling the enemy's attack. The bird was very fast in its attack. Meanwhile, the man seemed to have put on a purple ball, as if he had wrapped himself in it. Heaven and earth are beyond control, Daniel thought to himself. Bright purple rays swirled around him, mixed with a fiery yellow glow. Medical bats! The man exclaimed in a furious voice. He was as confident in his animals as Williams was in his colorful, huge bird. Thunder rush, he continued, directing all his power, huge black bats, against Williams' bird. They began to attack the mighty bird, injuring it. The bird, trying to fight back, clenched its huge beak. She tried her best to fight the nasty mice. Williams, meanwhile, was writhing in pain, with bloody wounds appearing on him, although the man didn't even come close to him. What was happening then, the guy could not understand. All damage dealt to a divine beast is transferred to its owner. I can't break through the defense, and Fang's speed is too low to cause any harm to the bats, the guy realized. Again, the black evil creatures strike the fiery bird. She fought off the attack as best she could, attacking back. If I continue in the same spirit, then I won't see victory, the guy concluded, figuring out on the fly how to proceed. Any confrontation between divine beasts damages your divine sense. In addition, it also damages your alchemical base. I suggest you surrender, Daniel suggested to Williams. Idiot, have you forgotten Fang's first lesson? Alice turned to the guy, trying to help him. She didn't understand how he could forget about that brutal, difficult fight with the bird, and not remember about dividing them into parts. Sister Alice, what are you talking about? The guy couldn't understand. Meanwhile, the bird had already split into 3 small birds, not by dying, but by rejoicing. You guys are always babbling about how cool it is to be big. The girl realized that his ears were completely blocked. But sometimes being a little smaller is also good, she continued more calmly. Being too big is not always useful, she said, reminding him of the past struggle. Then what should I do, Sister Alice? He asked the girl without understanding. Pour your true chi and divine sense into Fang. This should help, she advised. Bats, listen to my order, Daniel exclaimed, turning to the black toothy creatures. Thunderstrike, he continued, attacking with a huge flock of terrible nasty animals. It's time to finish. I don't want to see a genius die, the man said, knitting his black eyebrows. Forward! Williams shouted in the meantime, about to attack Dan. He was full of confidence and always ready to attack. And 3 small but very angry birds took flight, approaching the attackers. The first black toothy creature flew with one bird's blow, falling down with a nasty, terrible cry. The man staggered. Bright scarlet blood sprayed from his neck. He closed his eyes in pain. What? What is this? He growled, falling to his knees, clenching his sharp teeth. not understanding how this guy can defeat him. The chicken doesn't taste that bad. Thanks to Sister Alice for reminding me that Fang can divide into small birds that can cope with the speed of bats, Williams thought, smiling happily. Meanwhile, the birds were doing their job, scattering many flying creatures around. After all, they were quite proven in their strength. Daniel writhed in pain and screamed, feeling his defeat approaching. "Now our competition has begun," the guy said with pride, clenching his fists. They were both ready to fight brutally. The men went at each other, starting a fight among themselves. All around, bats fought with birds. Head to head, beak to beak, the two strongest animals fought to the death. One punch from the man confused Williams a little. The guy flew away, staggering slightly. "I can only use 3 small fangs. Senor King Dan, it seems that you are in about the same condition," the guy realized, holding his head with his hand. "I have as many as 5 bats," the wounded man growled. Calming himself, continuing to believe that his opponent is still weaker. Fang's chi should be the same as the Scarlet Bird's chi. "Maybe I can do something?" Williams decided, clenching his fist. "Scarlet Bird technique," he exclaimed, deciding on a new plan. "Hellish Wind Inferno," he continued, testing the power of a new attack unknown to him. "Strike with all your might, sir. We will decide the winner with our last blow," the guy said, turning to Daniel. "I agree with you." The man, also tired from a long battle, answered him. "Violet Thunderstorm Strike." They approached each other, trying to hit with the strongest blows. Bright rays of yellow light flashed into the huge estate. Such is the force of the blows and the power. Fire, explosion, rays of bright flame, and powerful explosions. "What's wrong?" The guy flew to the side. Drops of scarlet blood splashed from his mouth. Did Williams lose? It's normal that he lost, after all. His opponent was King Daniel, they heard around him. Unfortunately, I was caught by his last blow. "I can't create pills anymore," the wounded man thought, closing his eyes. He seemed to be completely exhausted. What about Williams? "He too can't create pills anymore," they whispered around, not fully understanding how it all ended. Williams smiled for some reason, turning his head to the side. He moved towards the crowd, waiting for some clarification. "Thanks for waiting." "I finally made it," the guy said, wiping the blood from his chin. He was delighted. "These pills are great. There is not an ounce of junk in them. The technique for creating them must have been found in heaven." Those around them rejoiced. They continued to wonder how he was able to create them. "Senor, can this be considered my victory?" he asked the man. "The new generation is indeed ahead of the old," Daniel answered him with a smile. "I accept my loss in this fight," the man agreed, handing Williams his dining stove. He really respected the boy's victory, because I was surprised by such strength at such a young age. "Now this stove, Juan, is yours," he said, handing over the subject of the dispute. "Senor, I am honored to receive such a treasure." "I am very grateful to you," the guy exclaimed with a joyful smile. "For many years I relied heavily on this furnace, neglecting the basics of alchemy. Now this stove has a new owner, much better than the old one," Daniel said as he left. "I would like to ask you, Senor, to join the Linden Pavilion. Become the senior alchemist of the Linden Pavilion," Williams addressed the departing man. Daniel paused and turned his head slightly towards the guy. "This golden spiritual fruit confirms that I am sincere," the guy continued, bringing the luminous fruit to Dan. "If Ricci joins the pavilion, then we will definitely deserve this name." The uncle continued the conversation. "Fine. Thank you for your kindness," the man answered, smiling. "The king doesn't want to join the Linden Pavilion?" The pavilion employees were indignant in surprise, because this would be an invaluable employee. "Young Master Williams, I also want to join you even if I am an errand boy." "Boss Williams, look at me. I'm working hard. Me too." That was all that could be heard around. "Please give our senior alchemist the right to choose new workers," the guy said, spreading his arms to the sides. "Leave it to me." Daniel agreed with him. "It looks like you made the right choice, child," his uncle said, shaking his hand. "Only children make choices." "I want to bake this alchemist too," Williams replied with a laugh. "Well done, master. The carriage of the Don Lucas Company is standing at our gate." One of the students addressed him. "They said that the owner of the company wants to have you as a guest." Owner? Could it be Oliver? Williams thought. And here we have the Dan Lucas Company. "No man can escape my bonds, and even you, Williams," Bethany, the foreman of the Don Lucas Company, said to herself. 1 week later, we see a carriage loaded with a horse. It is possible that behind the village, which is controlled by the Dan Lucas Company, is the Dan Lucas Tau sect, one of the 8 strongest sects, Alice thought. The 8 strongest sects. the most prestigious sects in the entire continent. Each sect has a lot of resources and high-class alchemists. We can say that every cultivator would like to join them, the guy thought. By the way, is alchemy Dan Lucas Tao strong? Williams asked the girl. I will teach you alchemy. Even if you want to join one of the 8 strongest sects, then you should go to the strongest of them, the Tao sect, said Alice. Sister Alice, are you not in the mood? He asked, approaching the girl. It's not because of the stove you received, the girl answered him, pointing her finger. It's red and hot and has a bad effect on my yin body, Alice said, touching her rosy cheek with her hand. Does this stove affect you that much? Williams asked the girl. The size of the furnace can be changed. After pouring your blood into it, it will accept the master. She can release the chi of the yin body, so I'm the only one here who suffers, the sister continued, upset. Hot and cold, the girl thought, opening her eyes wide. Williams suddenly laughed. It must be very hard for you, Sister Alice, the guy said, holding the back of his head. You don't know how to console your sister, the girl asked, smiling seductively, and she touched his shirt with her bare leg, as if pulling the guy towards her. It hurts, Sister Alice, Williams wailed. The horse-drawn carriage started moving. By the way, already sitting in the carriage, the girl continued, raising her finger up again. You must remember that when choosing one of the strongest sects, you must join the Tao sect, Alice said, approaching the guy again. Don't fall for that woman's charms. Don't look at what you shouldn't look at, and don't think about things you shouldn't think about, the girl instructed him. Don't worry, Sister Alice, I promise I won't, he answered her with confidence. In front of us is a large, open room. Summer playground. There are green, fluffy trees around, bright flowers, and a bright yellow sun. Is this for real? Williams exclaimed, opening his mouth, seeing in front of him the very woman Alice had told him about. A charming girl with very seductive forms and an alluring gaze appeared in front of him. Do you have some kind of secret technique in Dan Lucas Tao? The guy tried to distract himself with a question. You idiot, I told you not to succumb to her charms. He remembered his sister's warnings. Sorry, Alice. I only have to think about alchemy, the guy mumbled. You're so stupid, the girl continued to scold him. If young Master Williams is so worried about this, then why doesn't he touch them with his own hands? The woman asked, provoking the guy. Come on, touch them. The restless girl continued to seduce him, being sure that the guy will definitely fall for it. No, I can't fall into her trap. The guy stopped himself, throwing sly thoughts out of his head. Didn't you hear what I just said? The girl continued to seduce him, not understanding why he does not succumb to her tricks. Of course, I heard that you want to deceive me and drag me into the Tao sect. If I become a student of the sect, then you will receive many rewards, Williams answered her, having controlled himself. Why did you say that I want to drag you? Wouldn't your entry be an excellent solution for both sides? The girl asked. Unfortunately for you, I'm going to join the Tao sect, he answered the seductress. And he began to observe her reaction. To the Tao sect? The girl exclaimed in surprise. This is the most powerful sect, but it's very difficult to join it, she continued. Do you really want to go there? Join us, and I will help you with the introduction. The girl leaned towards Williams and persuaded him. If you become our student, then I will bear a child for you, she suggested to the guy. I can't be your first wife because of Miss Olivia, but I can be your second wife. I'm sure Miss Olivia won't refuse this, said the girl. No, thanks, answered the surprised guy. Because he loved Olivia, and no one in the world, not even such a beautiful woman like this, could interfere with his plans. The girl allegedly lay down on the floor in upset feelings. You have a good tongue-tie. I'm sure that many aspiring alchemists have fallen for your trick, right? Williams wondered. Be that as it may, he remembered his sister's warning. Young Master Williams is truly a very bad guy. You not only refused me, but also hinted that I was too old for you. The girl got angry without showing it. Young Master, remember that if you still decide to join our sect, then you can always come to me, she said as she left. By the way, I have a great gift for the Master. I would like to exchange it for spiritual money, the guy exclaimed. What? What a great gift, the girl asked impatiently, clutching her pink face. This is a 1,000-year-old blood spiritual herb, Williams began to explain. The girl opened her mouth wide, surprised. She thought about it. A little about the 8 strongest sects. Tai Suo sect, the strongest sect on the Chenwu continent. Its history begins about 3,000 years ago. There are many cultivators in the sect who are at the true stage of martial arts. Divine Armory, the best of the 8 sects in disassembling and improving weapons. They have their own methods of forging and improving weapons. They have a myriad of divine weapons hidden in their territory. Dan Lucas Tao. They possess alchemy techniques that are recognized throughout the Chenwu continent, and they are also responsible for evaluating the alchemists of the entire continent. Valley of the Ice Wind. This sect is famous for its yin and yang techniques. Only cultivators with outstanding pure blood abilities can enter it. There are also 4 lower sects. They consist of the Beast Mastery sect, which focuses on studying beast transformations, the Django clan, which cultivates sword techniques, the Great Martial Arts sect, the sect subordinate to the True Martial Arts sect, and also Lotus Island, a new unknown sect. And here in front of us lies the center of the city of Wohu. My 1,000-year-old blood spirit grass was sold for 400,000 spirit coins. Now I can buy more materials for growing golden spiritual fruits, Williams rejoiced. Get out! Why are you hanging around here? He said, noticing someone. Everyone is here. They came here to test their strength. Registration office for the Wohu City Martial Arts Tournament. Registration for the tournament means passing a test, the guy read. I already forgot that today is a tournament, a thought flashed through William's head. We'll start when you're ready. To pass, you must knock out a yellow color or higher, said the guard. I didn't pass, exclamations were heard around me. Next, said the guard. Out of the way. Now it's my turn, some guy shouted, clenching his fists. All participants were eager to test themselves and test their strength. He hit the concrete pillar with his fist as hard as he could, causing sparks to fly all around. This was a post for striking in competitions. It was huge, made of strong concrete. Bill has knocked out the green color and is ready for the preliminary test, said the guard, being the tournament judge. Yes, I passed, exclaimed the joyful guy. Get out, fat guy. What are you happy about? It's just the color green, Williams asked him. Can't I have fun just because I passed the test? More than half of them couldn't pass it anyway, the guy answered. Next, the judge shouted. After being hit, the test stone will show a color depending on the strength. First red, then orange, then yellow, then green, then blue, and finally purple. It turns out that those who passed knocked out a green color or higher, Williams thought as he approached the stone. As expected from a city of craftsmen, it looks like I should try, he decided, preparing his fist to strike. God, how hotly the guy said. What's going on? They said around. Now we'll find out what color I'll knock out, Williams thought, accelerating with all his might, delivering a powerful blow to the stone. It was a powerful blow of incredible force. Everything around began to glow with a bright yellow light. Sparks blazed and fell to the floor as white ash. The judges and participants opened their mouths in great surprise. This has never happened before. They were simply in shock. This stone was so fragile, Williams said, destroying it with his blow. It was necessary to hit not with full force, he thought, bowing his head sadly, standing over a pile of rubble, over what was left of a giant, strong pillar. What's going on here? Who's making a fuss here? The guy asked, approaching the culprit of the blow. Third young master, this guy just smashed the test stone. The guards turned to the third brother. Is the test stone broken? Who did this? He asked. Sorry, it's my fault, Williams replied, blushing, closing his eyes. Brother Williams? Exclaimed the third brother Oscar. Here we see a palace with 2 guards guarding the entrance. Everything around was green and very beautiful. Bright green fluffy trees, colorful grasses, and loud bird song. Brother Williams, do you really want to participate in the martial arts tournament of the city of Wohu? Oscar asked the guy sitting at the set table. This is a significant event that takes place only once every 3 years. Participation in it is an excellent opportunity for young cultivators to show themselves. It makes no sense for me to refuse to participate in it, the guy answered with his mouth full of food. It looks like you don't know. This year this tournament is sponsored by Noah's family, the third master told him. Noah's family? Williams asked. Exactly. Although I don't know what's going on between you, they will definitely try to stop you, Oscar continued. The tournament is very dangerous, but Noah's family is much more dangerous. Brother Williams, you should be careful. Raising his finger up, he warned the guy, worrying about him. I understand that it won't be easy for me, but I have a plan, he reassured the third master. Let me tell it to you, he said, beckoning the guy closer to him so that he could hear clearly. He leaned towards Williams, who began to whisper in his ear, telling him about his plans. Do you really want to do this? He asked in surprise. Drops of sweat flowed down the guy's cheeks from what he heard. Williams was sitting in the lotus position somewhere far away in the mountains, surrounded by yellow and blue rays. He trained trying to fully prepare for the tournament. The time has finally come. What does the Dan oven hide behind itself? Even if Sister Alice can't see what's in it, the guy reasoned, clenching his teeth. True Azure Dragon Chi, forward, Williams exclaimed, trying to test the power by releasing a blue beast glowing with bright light. The true key of the Azure Dragon is so strong, Alice said, pointing her finger at him. Do not stop. Keep pouring in your chi, Monica inserted. The Azure Dragon opened its huge mouth. It was beautiful in the bright blue light. He was simply incredible. The sky glowed with a fiery glow, and the blue azure rays merged with a bright yellow flame. Sister Alice, look, is this stove different from others? Williams turned to his sister. He wanted to learn more about the furnace, to understand it as best and as quickly as possible. The furnace shone in a bright yellow glow. Bright light rays of warm light emanated from it. She was beautiful in her strength and energy. No! I don't want to, Monica wailed, afraid to come up and take the stove. Resisting, she did not want to go. She was afraid of her reaction to this stove. Come on, little sister. The younger one pushed her, supporting her in such a difficult moment. You're the only one who can do this, she continued. Sister Alice, you shouldn't push Sister Monica, considering that her yin body is also weak, Williams advised. He understood how the eldest felt now, since he saw and felt how his little sister was suffering. You! How dare you underestimate my yin body? The eldest screamed, clenching her small fists. Because of her anger, she seemed to have energy, and even more courage. I'll do it, Monica exclaimed, gathering all her willpower into a fist. Sister, are you going to take the first step? Alice suddenly became afraid for her sister. It's just a broken stove, the eldest said, calming herself, boldly approaching the blazing fiery stove. She tried to overcome her fear. I'll never believe that she can do it, Williams thought to himself, looking at the emboldened girl. Full of confidence, she touched the hot, fiery vessel. It was not only warmth, heat, and powerful force that emanated from him. She's so strange, Monica said, yawning. It was a little hard for her to breathe, but the girl did not give up. She was as if after alcohol. Sister Monica looks pretty cute, Williams thought, looking at the eldest. She was both strong and weak at that moment. Because of her weakness, she seemed quite cute, after a short rest. Sister, what did you find there? Williams asked the eldest, scratching the back of his head. The guy came closer to her to see what she was doing there. The girl was sitting on her knees, when the guy approached her. She has such a fierce aura, Yang. Perhaps the fiery blood dragon Jade is there. It is possible that this stove is a divine dragon weapon, Monica said. Divine dragon weapon? The guy thought, looking at the fiery blazing furnace. Still, my sister managed to work on the stove and even revealed a lot of interesting things. You have found a real treasure. The divine dragon weapon is something not from the ordinary world. It would be a big waste to give it to that stupid King Daniel, said Alice. If this child can master the power of this furnace, then our plan to return the power can be improved. The girl continued to reason. No matter, I can't resist this dragon. I'm returning to the ring, Monica decided. It was as if she was offended by everyone around her and closed herself off in a ring, like in a house. Then, there are many secrets in this furnace that I must find out for myself. All information automatically penetrates my mind? Williams thought, standing near the red-hot, fiery furnace. Many ancient runes come out of this furnace. In ancient times, people lived in the Tianshan Mountains. Because of Jade's fiery blood dragon. The son of a dragon entered into a contract with a true dragon, the guy realized, looking into the very depths. It turns out that this stove was created and improved in ancient times by a man named Yang. Under the influence of the fiery blood dragon Jade, all alchemical processes proceed much faster in this furnace. Williams continued to draw conclusions. In addition, this furnace has yin and yang arrays. Inside this furnace, time flows faster, and because of this, the alchemical processes in it proceed faster and more efficiently, the guy realized. If I can use it, I can create many true chi aura pills and reach the 7th stage of martial arts, he thought as he further explored the properties of the fire furnace. Brother. We're being watched! Sister Alice tore Williams from his thoughts. She had some kind of special device in her hand that allowed her to see more widely, like a CCTV camera. Don't worry, sister, the guy reassured the girl, making it clear that there is nothing to worry about. After all, he always thinks a few steps ahead. He's coming? The guy asked, feeling that the one who was watching them was approaching. He was always ready to attack or defend. Sister Alice, return to the ring, the guy commanded, and prepared to attack. He was primarily concerned about the safety of the girls. The sky lit up with a bright blue light, many rays, and through them the flight of a cold, sharp arrow. "Stop!" Williams exclaimed, making a movement in front of the flying arrow, trying to stop the weapon. "I will return it to you," said the guy, throwing away the arrow with his powerful force. Its tip hit the back of the fleeing man who had been watching them for who knows how long. Blood gushed from the wounded back of the one who fired the arrow. The man fell on a huge stone, spreading his arms to the sides, and he screamed loudly in pain. He was hit by a strong blow. It's strange how so many people were here so unexpectedly. "They were definitely aiming at you," Alice whispered to him from the ring. "I asked the guard to tell everyone that I was here. And as it turned out, this was enough for the tame dogs of Noah's family to come running." Williams answered. "Did you come running? No matter what you think, you're definitely not in the best situation right now. Even if you kick them out of here, what good will it do you?" Sister Monica joined the conversation. "Sister Alice, you said that the true White Tiger Chi is powered by battles. The Wohu City martial arts tournament will begin soon, and I'm not sure there will be enough opponents there," Williams said. "Now let's try something," he said, picking up a weapon glowing with a violet bright light. Bright yellow huge balls appeared in the air. Blue lightning sparkled around them, lighting up the sky. "Who are you? Who sent you?" Williams asked two guys in masks. They were dressed like ninjas, and sharp iron swords sparkled in their hands. "If you tell the truth, you will remain alive," he continued with a menacing, confident expression on his face. "Stop talking nonsense. If we tell you the truth, what will happen to our Black Wind Gang in the future?" The masked man answered him, folding his hand over his chest. "What?" They listened to Williams, gathered around the guy glowing with purple rays. "Clear. So, you are all members of the Black Wind Gang," he exclaimed, squeezing his weapon tighter. "Sacrifice your lives for justice." Williams got into a fighting stance. Bright purple rays swirled around. "Third leader, we are vulnerable now. Should we start a battle?" The warriors turned to their elder. "How did he know? Has someone really betrayed us?" The ninja thought, looking with big, bulging eyes, more and more surprised. "Doesn't matter. He's alone. Kill him," the elder answered, giving instructions to continue the fight. "White Tiger, wild dance!" Williams exclaimed, attacking opponents who did not want to give up. He spun like the wind, releasing streams of incredible powerful force, trying to launch an attack. "He's open, brothers! Attack!" The eldest gave the command to his warriors. "Not so fast," Williams said, sending blue streams of power at the black ninjas. "Defend yourself!" he exclaimed, continuing to attack. Explosions, screams, puffs of smoke, and bright purple lightning all around. "White Tiger, step 2, the guy continued, and he began to release an evil, beautiful beast in order to cope with this large, unknown gang. A huge, beautiful beast appeared behind him, and its roar pierced the entire valley where the battle was taking place. Again, there are screams all around. Flying ninjas trying to repel the attack of a formidable tiger, and a strong Williams who does not want to give up. He scattered everyone around. Guys in black suits with masks on their faces were writhing on the ground in pain. "Have you reached the 7th stage?" "This is impossible," exclaimed the elder, turning to Williams with great surprise. "Judging by my true chi, I am still at the 6th stage. By combining with the dragon furnace, my technique has improved. It's not surprising that they thought that I was on the 7th stage," the guy concluded. "Just tell it like it is. Noah's family sent you? But for what purpose?" he continued to ask, not understanding what they need from him. "I am the 3rd leader of the Black Wind Gang. Do you think you can kill me?" "Why should I tell you everything?" the elder asked Williams, not in a hurry to admit it. "I have a lot of ways to make you talk," the guy continued, preparing for a new attack. "Legendary true demonic yin-ki?" the elder ninja said, his eyes bulging, looking at Williams. "But all this time you only use the yang technique. Who are you? How do you know this demonic power?" asked the elder with even greater surprise. Williams came very close to him, and he touched the ninja's head with his glowing hand, enveloping it in a blue haze of bright radiance. Again, there is a lot of light, blue rays, lightning, and clouds of white smoke around. The sky is illuminated with bright light. The elder fell to his knees, unable to withstand the blow. He sat in this position as if shackled. He knows the true demonic yin-chi. "Sister Monica, Does this gang have anything to do with you? Williams asked the eldest. I haven't contacted the mortal world for a long time. I'm afraid this gang was created by the descendants of some untalented students, the girl answered him. Dan! One of the bandits suddenly said, all shrouded in a purple haze and seemingly frozen. What you said? Williams asked him, taking the guy by the shoulder. Dan! King Dan! He said like a robot, looking at one point. Pavilion of King Dan! Williams exclaimed in bewilderment. Beads of sweat ran down his cheeks. I should have immediately guessed that Noah's family is treacherous, and they would not attack only me or King Dan, the guy realized, instantly rushing there. They lured me into a trap to attack King Dan's pavilion. What will happen to my uncle and the alchemists? The guy was seriously scared for them, and as fast as he could, he rushed towards the pavilion. What the guy couldn't imagine while he was heading to his family. Based on what the third leader of the Black Wind Gang said, this is their main goal. But why is everything calm here? He thought upon arriving at the place. Our little boy is already grown up. Did I hear that you stayed with the owner of Dan Lucas Bethany for several days? Leo asked him. Father? Williams was surprised looking at him. Boy, you should know how to behave properly. I was like that too when you were your age. They continued the conversation, turning to the guy. Uncle, what are you doing here? Have you seen a gang of cultivators here? He asked in surprise when he saw his younger uncle. We saw some group of bandits who were trying to get rowdy here, the uncle answered him. But the Williams family drove them away. The uncle continued to explain. Okay, thank you, the guy replied in surprise. Don't worry, I know you're still training. If anything happens, our family will always come to your aid, his father reassured him. And then he coughed loudly. He covered his mouth with his hand, streams of scarlet blood flowing from under his fingers. Father, brother Leo! Williams and his uncle shouted, running up to the man who had fallen to the floor. We see the entrance to the Williams estate. There is a bright light inside the room, and there are beautiful trees in the moonlight outside. The father was sitting in the lotus position. The elder uncle directed a ball of fiery energy into his stomach. Leo's inner image fell into chaos, and his true energy flowed in the opposite direction. I used my true chi to temporarily seal his meridians, and only then could I save his life, explained the eldest uncle. Uncle Ted, who did you fight with and what happened? Williams asked his younger uncle, trying to figure out what really happened. This is a group of mountain bandits, and their leader is level 8. My brother Leo and I were able to hold out for a little while, but the leader of the robbers suffered even greater losses, Uncle Ted began to tell. Apparently they used some kind of sinister technique, the eldest uncle added, directing their healing power into Leo's stomach. Guys, look at this wound on Leo, Uncle called the guys to come closer. Is this a wound from claws? They asked, looking at the mark, which looked like the paw and claws of some unknown animal. In that case, it's the same for me, Tad began to say, gritting his teeth. He put his hand forward, on which there was also a glowing wound similar to that from claws. It glowed scarlet, and red streams of blood flowed down the wounded arm. Me too, my uncle continued, frightened. Blood also began to drip from his nose. Now Tad lay wounded in a hospital bed on the estate next to the wounded Leo. They don't have any serious problems right now, so you should go to bed early to rest and focus on preparing for the martial arts meeting. My old bones are still capable of something, the elder uncle said to Williams. Then I'll leave, the guy answered him, bowing, deciding to leave the room. Okay, answered the uncle, and Williams left, clearly planning to deal with what happened behind his back at all costs. The guy headed down some familiar alley, completely enveloped in his thoughts. Sister Monica, do you recognize the strange wound on my father's body? Williams asked the eldest. This is a magical drawing technique in which the master puts an imprint on the warrior's body. Then it continues to absorb the true energy and essence of the enemy, the girl began to explain. In less than 3 days, the affected person will die from depletion of true chi. Monica continued sadly. 3 days? The guy asked in horror. Drops of sweat were running down his cheeks. He was very worried about his father and uncle. Don't worry too much. Judging by the method, the person who harmed your father is very poor at this technique. The effect of the technique was sealed by that grandfather, the girl said. I don't know how many generations of students have learned this technique. In my time, there was no one who could practice this technique to the fullest, she said, folding her hands on her chest. Noah's family is very treacherous. They know that I have to prepare for the martial arts festival so they can spite me, said Williams. Now is not the right time for this, the girl answered. Hey! The guy exclaimed. Sister Alice suddenly came up from behind and grabbed him by the neck, as if hugging him. "Sister Alice, what are you doing?" he shouted. The girl knocked him to the floor in one move. "What's that sad face, you little fool?" "The other side uses magical techniques," Alice said, ruffling his hair. "Isn't the one in front of you an ancestor who uses magic?" The girl continued to torment Williams. "But Monica has lost her power. Could you help me get rid of the leader of the Black Wind Gang?" He turned to his older sister. "I can't," the girl answered, folding her arms across her chest. "So, is it possible to learn martial arts from your father and uncle?" Williams asked. "Magic only kills, not saves," Monica told him. "Oh," the guy answered briefly, thinking about what to do to save his father and uncle. "Sister, I remember you have a unique technique." He turned to the girl again. "What are you talking about?" Monica asked him, opening her eyes wide, not understanding what he means. Williams climbed into the water container. Meanwhile, Monica changed into lighter clothes. "Should I do this?" the girl said, gathering her hair into a ponytail. "Boy, I'm saying that my older sister has excellent magical technique," his sister Alice convinced him, looking at Williams. "You will be safe against the Black Wind Gang," Alice exclaimed, rejoicing at her new idea. "Really?" Williams exclaimed joyfully. "Monica, what do you want to tell me?" the guy asked, waiting. He was very curious. "Of course, this technique is much more powerful than a magical drawing," the eldest said with confidence. "I'll give it to you, and you'll be able to fight much faster, and you'll even be able to get all the enemy's techniques." The girl continued to surprise him. "Is this technique so powerful?" Williams asked, opening his huge brown eyes wide. He simply did not believe in such luck. "She was known as," Monica said, pointing a glowing purple finger at the guy's forehead. "Devouring demon technique," she finished.